Right, we should be live in theory. Hello. This might actually be working. I don't know. We shall see. But yes, so we are back. It's been a few months due to, well, life and the world and me doing things. So I don't know how well this is going to work because I now live in a place where the internet is a bit shit. So, but we are recording this as well, not on the stream. But hopefully everything should go well. But yes, today we are back. We have a game this was meant to be a different game. We've been planning this for a while, but unfortunately the state of the world has refused to let us do anything with that. So we are doing something slightly different. We are playing Shadow of Mogg. Something quite fitting, I think, for UK, shall we say. Let me just turn off my Twitch because that is just not working there. Right. So, I'm not going to be running the game. Fiona's going to be running the game. Because, yes, Fiona. And so, I'm kind of at a bit of a discombobulated state at the moment. So, forgive me. I'm just going to hand over to Fiona so she can do everything while I hopefully make sure that this works. So, yes, Fiona.
Oh, okay. Hello.
Yes, go.
Hello, everyone. Me, go now. Hi. Well, hello. Good evening, and remain indoors, everyone. Welcome to Shadow of Mogg, a post-Brexit apocalyptic game. I've been joined by 3 amazing players, which will go around and introduce themselves in a second. But before we begin, as you could probably tell from the title, there's some dark themes in this game. So if you are not in the right headspace to be watching a dystopian, politically sort of heavy game, and I say that in a sense of like, the world's on fire just now. Lots of things are bad happening. And so a lot of people use RPGs as an escapism thing to get away from the stuff. We're going to use this as a setting, but at the same time have our own sort of dark humor comedy going throughout it. Imagine this game it's very similar in tone to Paranoia, but also if you think, Monty Python's Brazil, that sort of thing. Well, that's what we're sort of aiming for with this game. However, if you're not feeling that sort of tone just now, it's too hot, totally fine. That's absolutely fine. But just giving those warnings up top. But before we go into the actual game itself and making our own characters, because everything is randomly generated in Shadow of Mogg, I'm going to go around my players and I just want them to introduce themselves, share their pronouns if they need to, and where they've, maybe do a quick social plug at the beginning, just get that out of the way, and we'll go like that. So if we go with Ben, then JT, and then David, let's take it away.
Hello everyone, I'm Ben, regular on Drunken Storyteller and various other streaming sites. I use they, them pronouns, and you can usually find me on various places where RPGs are bought and sold, publishing various things or working for other people. Currently no projects to pimp right now, but yeah.
Brilliant, thank you very much. JT, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi everybody, my name is JT. You can find me on Twitter at Zensomancer, and my pronouns are they or he. And I also do not have anything else to plug at the moment.
No worries, fine. And finally, last but by no means least, David.
And a ghost. You'll notice a ghost every now and then appears over my shoulder. This is my channel. If you don't know who I am, then welcome to my channel. What are you doing here?
How did you get into my Zoom room?
Yeah, we'll not get back into that argument again. This is my channel. I do random gaming stuff here. This is a novelty for me to actually be playing in a game. I think the last game I played was actually when Ben ran Kobolds, and I got eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah, me, you, and the bodiless voice Tom.
Oh, Tom.
Yeah.
Who's on holiday at the moment. He's in Sweden. Game. So that's why he's not around. But yeah, so this is me. I do things here. And we'll cover everything else later. Pronouns he, they, they're at the top. Everyone's got them around them. And their Twitter handles. So yes, welcome.
Welcome, yes. Yeah. Get the all awkwardness out the way, because I'm gonna have to read something to you folks now. So I'm gonna do my reading voice. So apologies in advance. So
Is
yes,
everyone
so
sitting comfortably?
well, I hope so, because this is going to be lovely. So Shadow of Mogg is a post-apocalyptic role-playing game set in the tunnels of the London Underground following a catastrophic occurrence known as the Event. The inhabitants of the tunnels have different opinions, memories, and experiences as to what the event was. What is known is that life persists within the London Underground now. The survivors have brought their divisions, factionalism, and petty grievances into this new world, exacerbated by the isolation, fear, sudden close quarters, lack of food and comforts, and the ever-present fear of things twitching in the corner of their eyes. One would hope that the people would band together in this sort of a blitz spirit. One could be wrong. Most survivors have separated into small groups known as parties, governed by their own manifestos. The majority of parties are democratic, clinging to this method of governance, even in the face of the apocalypse. These players are playing members of one such party. So what we're going to do first, we're going to create our characters. So this is a great thing about Shadow of Mogg, or Curse of Smog, as I keep saying it in my head for no reason at all. We're going to do character creation. What's great about this particular RPG is it mostly uses D6s for making rolls and everything else. So I would like everyone to roll 2d6 for me, please, or a d6-6 essentially, and let me know what they get. Actually, we'll go around in order once everyone's rolled. That might make sense. So what did you get, Ben?
64.
64. So Ben, your character's class is a baker. So I'll rush ahead and I can read that little thing out for you.
Okay.
So your 64. Right at the back. Ah, there we go. So Mary Berry's got the job. So why don't you get a job? So that's on page 40 of the PDF, Ben, if you've got that to hand.
Yep.
No worries. JT, what did you roll, my friend?
I rolled a 36.
36. Oh, you are Jezza's People's Front.
I don't know what that is.
You know what? Remember what we said? Whatever you think it is true. So we must unite behind the people's champion. And that's all you get for that. And that's on page 24 of the document.
I love the fact that you don't know what that is. That's good to make it so much better.
Yeah, exactly. And David, what did you roll, my friend?
32.
32?
I apologise if I become really loud and really quiet. Obviously, I've got no mic stand, so if anybody gets suddenly deafened at some point, I apologise.
Oh, David.
What?
You are HSBC chief exec.
I'm what?
HSBC chief exec.
So I'm the first one on the spit, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much.
I say you're a banker.
Banker.
You're a banker. You're a banker. I'm a master baker, and Jez is going to have to work out what's going on.
So the author bio says they have no idea how hard they have no idea how hard you worked for all you had, and now everything has gone to shit. Brilliant. And that's on page, if you've got that, David, but I can read that out for you as well. It's page 20 on the PDF.
Well, we'll come to that as and when. I don't have enough bandwidth for things.
I can read it out for you. Actually, I'll probably use you as an example then, because I have it to hand. So
just as a thing, HSBC is obviously the well-known banking chain that is quite big in the UK and Hong Kong, surprisingly enough.
Exactly.
Just for people who are unaware.
Yes. So next step is that you determine your character's stats. So each character has 4 stats. You have hench, which is like your character's strength, resilience, and how good they are in a punch-up. You've got dash, which is your agility, nimbleness, ability to shoot weapons and move silently. You have noggin, which is your awareness of the environment and other people, as well as your ability to think on your feet. And then finally, you have bants, which is your silver tongue, your presence and appeal, and how the denizens of the underground react to you. So for each of the so for each of the you have 4 numbers. There's 3, 2, 2, and 1. I want you to assign them to whichever one you would like. And as this may be a bit obvious, but I'll just say it, the higher number you have, the better your character is in that area. So for example, if you put 3 into hench, that means you're very good at strength. If you put 1 into hench, you're not as good at it.
I'm going to put 1 in Bance, but he thinks that he has the Bance because he's rich and has been a chief exec, and everybody's always listened to him throughout his entire life. So he thinks he has the Bance, but really doesn't.
See, I would thought you put like 1 into Noggin as a result of that.
No, he's made his millions.
Yeah, it's a little bit of
He knows he has intelligence. He's just used it badly.
Brilliant. All right, so once you folks have done that, we'll go on to step 3, which is noting down your stuff. So each character class has a set of items. I want you to note them down on your character sheet. So for you, David, if I rush
Is this
back to
stuff?
the PDF, it's his stuff. Give me a second whilst I find you. HSBC. So your stuff, David, you have a briefcase stuffed with worthless sterling notes. You have a Rolex watch and an empty bottle of Glenfiddich.
Why? Glenfiddich is a bad whiskey.
But it's empty.
It's a cheap whiskey.
And if you've got something called party resources on your sheet as well, let me know in a second and we'll put them on the party manifesto sheet when we get there. So for David, we have 1 Molly, which again, I'll go into what that is in a second.
I have a Molly.
Yeah. David, you also get on this thing, so you've also got some weapons and armor as well. Your armor is an Armani suit, and your weapons are keys to the Mercedes, which I quite like. So make a note of those as well. Actually, let's go around. So JT, what items have you got?
It looks like my stuff.
Yep.
Is a cucumber sandwich, a stack of leaflets.
Yep.
And a notebook, pen, and pencil.
Perfect. Do you have any armor or weapons at all?
I assume no, because I don't see.
There'll be little subheadings on the page. If not, that's totally fine.
Oh, yeah, no. Oh.
Sorry, I'm just coughing badly there. Ben, what do you have?
I have a bake-off winning cake. I have a rolling pin that's actually a cake. I have a bag of flour, and perhaps most importantly, I have jam.
You have what? Sorry, you cut out just a little bit then. Sorry.
I have jam roly-poly.
Lovely.
You're my friend.
Excellent, excellent. So with that, when you've noted all that down as well, do you have any armor or weapons?
Nope.
No. Okay.
How am
So
I the
let's
only
just
one
say
with
what-
armor
I
and
do have a
weapons?
weapon. No, I do have a weapon. My rolling pin is actually a cake. Apparently also counts as a weapon.
Perfect. Okay, just make a note of that as well on the sheet. So in addition, each class has certain resources that they can bring to the party. Note that these combined values on the party's record sheet. So this, I know JT is looking after this. So on the record sheet, we have our party resources. We have, she says, trying to find it. We have Scran, which is basically your food and water supply. You have Gubbins, which is like basically like the currency, but also can up to mend weapons and stuff. Meds, which straightforward should be healing stuff. Slugs, which is actually ammunition for weapons. And juice, which is very important, it's to help you light the way and also help with any electric equipment, essentially. So, so I know David has one in. Oh, Molly's not on that page either. There's also Molly as well. So we've got one in Molly anyway. So we'll put that in there. JT, any party resources that you have to share with us?
Yes, I have 1 Scran and 1 juice, which I have added to the sheet already.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that. And Ben, have you got any
I have 4 Scran.
4 Scran. Oh, excellent. 4 Scran, no Gubbins, no meds.
Yeah.
It's all right. I bring the party, so don't worry about it.
Sure. Hey, you got food though, guys. Well done.
We got
So what that
food and we
means
got
is that-
mollies. Isn't that enough? Isn't that all we need?
That's not what we need. So with all, as you can tell, these sort of party resources, they can fluctuate. You might need to meet when you meet some people. We might need to trade and stuff. Just making sure Yes, that's right. So for each sort of number, so we've got a number between 1 and 5, that denotes the actual how much of that resource you have. So actually having 5 means a D12. And we'll go on to that when you use this sort of thing. If you ever roll a 1 on a resource, it goes down to the next level of the dice. So if you rolled a 1 on the D12, it'll go down to the D10. And on a D4, if that goes down to 1, it goes down to nothing. So that's just good to know on that front. Next up, certain classes start the game with something called mates. These are non-play. Oh. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't get what David's character has for party resources. I didn't.
Molly.
One Molly.
Oh, just one Molly. Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, one Molly. These high exec people don't really do much.
It's almost like they take more than they give back.
Ooh. Oh dear.
Would I do something like that?
Yes, you would. So next up in the character creation is mates. Certain classes start the game with mates. These are non-playable characters who join your character. Note them down along with their value. Does anyone have any mates? I'm going to tell you, David doesn't.
Yes, I do. I have a baker's assistant, which is rank 1.
Really?
Why
So
does
you
it
would
not
add that to
surprise
your
me I don't
sheet?
have any mates?
So you can add that to your sheet. Ben.
I have them, yeah.
Brilliant. JT, do you have any mates you want to add to your sheet, or can add to your sheet?
I do not.
Oh, that's a shame. You think Jezza's People's Front would have mates?
I
but-
thought they would have done. I thought they'd have had a few people around.
Indeed. The next step would be adding personal details. So this is where you would finally name the character, choose their gender, age, preferred pronouns, and briefly describe their appearance. What I would say in terms of age, just to let you know, you can have people in the teens, so however age. If anyone is under 18, just to let you know, they can participate in the game, but they can't vote, which is very, very important later on. So I would suggest, because there's only 3 of you, maybe being a little bit older than 18. Just pointing it out there.
I kind of like the idea of being the chief exec of HSBC and only being 16. Thank you very much.
That's your own little history.
It would
behind
make
it.
a lot of sense.
Daddy didn't set
Actually,
me up
no.
for this role at all.
To
No.
be totally fair, we're ranking on HSBC, but I would like to point out one thing that they are really doing, which people should be aware of. HSBC are making an active stance on financial abuse situations, and you can go into the places. So props to HSBC for that one thing, and that one thing only, but props to HSBC for that.
Yeah, they've got a really good campaign actually on that. Just
Yeah.
that sort of things like that. Brilliant.
Yeah.
What I'll do, if I'm sure we can finish off the actual character creation stuff, like the personal details and stuff in the break. But the final thing is that we got form party bonds. So each character will have a question at the bottom of the page that associates them with another member of the party in some way. Before we begin the game, we have to go around and make those party bonds. It's a bit like Fiasco in those sort of relationships. So everyone will have a relationship or a bond with at least one other person.
Just the usual relationship map that seems to be quite popular nowadays. So
Exactly. So if JT, if you're okay to start, can you read out your question and then pick either Ben or David to have that relationship with?
Yes. You got into an aggressive social media argument with one of the party members. Who was it, and what was it about? Oh, so now I have to figure out what Jezza's people front mean to me to have any concept of what this means. I definitely got in a Twitter fight with the executive at HSBC though. But what would it be about? I literally have no. I even tried Googling Jezza and I wasn't getting good.
I'm guessing it's probably spelled.
Reference.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of options it could be to provide you context from British culture. It could be Jeremy Corbyn, which it most likely is going to be. It could be Jeremy Kyle, which would be a funnier option. And the funniest option is it could be Jeremy Hunt.
Oh, I was going to say Jeremy Clarkson.
Yeah, but Jeremy, like,
Could also be Jeremy Clarkson.
like
They didn't get something to do with
the
cars.
it's the whole thing does come from Jeremy Clarkson originally, but also Jeremy Corbyn as well. So it could be the ultra
The New
left
Jersey's
wing.
Army was a young population of voters.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But again, in this world though, JT, it can be any fight about anything. So what would you like it to be? Or we can come back to you if you need a bit more time.
Mine's a bit more
please do.
straightforward.
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
like.
Let me think about it for a second.
Not a problem. Okay. Ben, what's your question? And yeah.
So my question is, I baked a special cake for someone in the party. Who was it? What was the cake? And what was the occasion?
Oh, aren't you nice?
So I'm playing Maggie, who's a 67-year-old Scouse grandma of 7. And so I think I baked a cake for the executive. It's a very special cake. It's a cake in the shape of a guillotine. It's got a fondant version of all the executives who've had their heads all chopped off in a basket. And it was for their recent birthday.
Why, thank you.
Amazing.
Such
Amazing.
detail in the visceral blood there.
Well, it's a red velvet with strawberry jam to represent your blood that is spilling out. Yeah.
My
I
sweet
got that.
blood. You're saying I've got
Absolutely.
sweet blood?
You'll notice there's also some on your hands to reference the amount of blood that you have on your hands. Actually, I'm going to change it from Scouse. I'm going to change it to West Country because I can do that accent for a grandma. That'll be fine.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to go to David now because I realise that both David and JT will have a special power because you've got an assistant, Ben. Or Maggie, I shall call you now because you've named yourself. So we'll do David next to give JT.
Could you tell me what my question is?
I will. That's what I'm just looking for it now. Okay, so so this is your special ability first. So you've got this, David. Special ability is called Jammy. Things just seem to work out for you. Once per day, when you roll a 1 on any die, you may re-roll it, which I quite like. But your character question is one of the party members defaulted on their subprime mortgage loan that you authorized. They lost their home and all their savings. Who was it, and what did you spend your 4 million annual bonus on?
This can link quite nicely into JT's Twitter war.
Yeah.
I did it to JT. I took your home, and this is where our Twitter war came into it. You were one of many people that I foreclosed on, and you got into a Twitter war with me about you losing your home. And the 4 million bonus.
I've taken it weirdly personal. Like you personally took my home from me somehow.
Yeah, and I'm living in it now or something, maybe.
Well, yeah, I think you were before the event, perhaps, because and everyone's in the tunnels just now. But what did you spend the 4 million annual bonus on, though?
The Mercedes.
just the one Mercedes.
The Mercedes.
It's a vintage Mercedes.
It had some famous person in it at one point. Some guy called Hitler.
Not me.
No, that not that car. That's
Some guy.
Some guy.
That was what got me.
Yeah.
No, I'd like a really high top end Mercedes. All the shizzle and fizzle and bling and diamantes.
Yeah, you still remember it, but now you only have the
I've got the
keys.
keys.
For the electronic. You've got the electronic fob, which when you go towards a Mercedes, it will open, but you've not seen a Mercedes in some time.
I listen out for that. Click click.
Brilliant. And JT, so I'll read out your special ability, and if you do your question. So your special ability is if I remain to be conscious. Once per day when you are.
Jez's people front.
Oh, sorry, I didn't go for it. Yes, sorry. Special ability is the Splitters. The people's front of Jezza have a -2 to reaction rolls when encountering your party. So that's if other Jezza's people front sort of meet with you. If the people's front of Jezza are in your party, you must vote against any of their proposals out of principle. Good to know.
Sorry, is this a Monty Python reference? Are there multiple versions of Jezza that we need to be aware of with slightly different manifestos?
It's the people's front of Judea facing the Judean people front.
The Judean people's front.
So if you rolled a 35, it's the people's front of Jezza, and on the 36, it's the Jezza's people's front. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
brilliant.
Yeah, but your character question though, JT, go for it.
Yeah, so I got into an aggressive social media Argument with David. I didn't get your character's name yet.
I've not thought of one yet. Just call me
Oh,
Dave.
oh,
Yeah, don't worry. I think Ben's on it, so don't worry.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So who was about? Yeah, you literally foreclosed on my home and then started living in it somehow in the in sort of the pre-chaos of the event.
Back just before this person tried to buy Twitter.
And then tried to go back on it.
Yeah, and then the event
Brilliant.
happened. Maybe he had something to do with it. Mm.
Oh well, we can't talk about the events. That's the whole point. No one knows. It's all different things. But that's essentially is it for character creation. The final thing I would love for us to decide upon is what is your party's name? What's the name that you're under?
As in, like, just a random party name, or is it
Make up a
like a
name.
political
Make up a name.
party thing?
It
Or
doesn't have to be political. It's whatever. What like, again, we could talk about the backstory sort of in it off camera. But I'm thinking like, what's the like? If I say like party of adventurers, usually you have like a cool name. What would it be for this party? It doesn't have to be a real political party just now. It could be anything.
Maggie's Minions.
I'm
How does
nobody's
the minions
minion.
fine? I mean, you could always go for gentle minions.
Oh.
I think. So again, it's a cultural reference, but if you've not been on TikTok recently, people are dressing up to go see the Minions film. So and they're called gentle minions as a result.
I would rather gentle. I'm just going to call myself Bobby because that's easy. Bobby is nobody's minion. If
Is that Bobby
anything,
with
you
an
are
I
my
or
minions.
Bobby with a Y.
Bobby with a Y. Sorry, not doing the.
That's fine. And can I ask Bobby's pronouns?
Very much a he/him. Very much the alpha male.
God, I want to kill him.
The kind of person that I really despise in every kind of manner. I'm going to have to play a character I really don't want to. It's going to be fun though.
But leaning into it, it's be fun. JT, I don't know if you've got a preference for your name and pronouns for your character, or if you... go on.
Oh yeah, Jason, he, him.
Jason, he.
31.
Brilliant. Okay, well, I guess we could have maybe go away and have a think about what the party name, what your group is called essentially. But that is character creation. That is all done. So I suggest we take a quick break, grab a drink, get immersed in these characters, and then we'll be back to playing.
Yes.
So I'll hand it back over to David.
Let me just find. Yes. So yeah, cool. What 10, 15 minutes?
10 minutes, yeah.
10 minutes, cool. So yeah, we'll be back in 10 minutes. Hopefully we'll still be live and my internet won't have crashed by then. So see you in a minute. Bye.
Bye.
front of Jazza and Jazza's people front. But we will let Fiona carry on, and then she can take control, because I've got to sit back and
Thanks.
relax for once.
Yes, you do. Yeah. So yes, hello, and
Fan.
good evening, and remain indoors. So,
Remain
everyone,
underground, you mean, in the tunnels?
yes, that's exactly what I mean. Because yeah, so we have again, we've just agreed off screen. So this party is known as the Ramonas, and we have Maggie, who's been played by Ben, who's the baker. We have Bobby, played by David, who is a HSBC chief exec, and finally we have Jason, who's part of the Jezza's People's Front, and definitely shouldn't be confused with the People's Front of Jezza, just so we all know. So I'm going to get you guys to introduce yourselves, like what you look like, if you wish to do that, any little bit of personal detail. If you want to go over the bonds again, we can do. But I thought I'd just quickly talk about how this game is going to work. So, as we are underground, in the London Underground, we are going to be moving around a not accurate map of the Underground. I have to say that straight up, so otherwise there'll be people going in saying, where's Victoria gone? It's not there anymore. We don't talk about Victoria anymore. But we're going to get from basically one area to another area through a plot hook that I rolled earlier, essentially. And then as we go through that, they will find encounters. They'll have to decide who eats, and all that sort of thing. But basically, the main mechanic is this: whenever anything has to happen, in the sense of like what direction they need to go in, if we're going to fight someone, anything like that, there is a vote. Somebody, one of the party, has to give up a proposition to be like, we should do this. And then I have to go around to each of the members of the party, asking them what their view is on this proposition. Then we go around and vote for it. And then the majority votes, it wins, and it goes forward. If it doesn't win, then that vote is rejected. And then another proposition has to go ahead of it instead. The members can also choose to abstain. They can also spoil the vote as well. What I'm going to say, folks, if you have access to your Discord and fancy, I think we're going to try and do this voting stuff in secret. I think that'll be a lot more fun. But obviously, if we can't do that for tech reasons, that's also fine as well. We'll sort it out there, but when the time comes. Once the vote has happened, a proposition has been passed, we then move on to the resolution phase. And this is where all the sort of those stats we talked about earlier, these sort of hench, dash, noggin, and bants, that's when this also comes into play. But we'll get to that when we get there. But I thought I'd let you know that it is a democratic game, but I expect people to be willingly to screw people over, just like what we do in Paranoia, essentially. But my dear party, my Ramonas, you start in the wonderful little place, the sort of tube stop known as the Islington. And you're on the Victoria line, a very famous line. So famous, in fact, that it's actually not on the tube map. It's not connected and no one ever goes there. But you have heard, in your great tales from other parties, like leaving and coming and going, there is a tube stop very far down on the, so if Fiona has to get directions right, east. It's down onto the sort of the southeast of the tube map, the old tube map, a place where other parties are going missing. And you feel very strongly that you will have to suss it out, because they might be finding something, might be finding resources. They might be finding a way out. Maybe there's a reason why the event, although we should talk about the event, has happened. So that's where you start. You are starting in Islington, and you're going to make your way down to basically the southeast, for a place that's known, a tube stop, known as Mogg's End. So let's go round. We'll start with Bobby first, and then we'll go for Jason, and then we'll go for Maggie. Just to introduce yourselves, it's the beginning of the day. I want you to describe like how you get up and how you're getting ready for your journey.
I wasn't really paying much attention to that. Sorry, I was doing things.
It's fine. Get ready. You're starting the day. What's your morning routine, Bobby?
My normal routine is I will wake up. I will try to do the semblance of what is a shower in this place, which is just like a dribble of water over me wipes. And like basically toilet paper, dry toilet paper, because it's all we've got. Prim and prime myself, like use the smallest amount of moisturizer that I've got left over to soften the slowly drying skin. I'll also do a quick run and a few push-ups to keep the body fit and healthy and at the top of the peak of the game that I used to be at. Basically trying desperately to keep alive that routine that I had when I was a chief exec. I'd be up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Unfortunately, I don't have any coffee, but having some form of stimulant to wake me up and get me going, shall we say. And just being, and then putting on that one Armani suit that I've got left, picking off little bits of fluff and
bit ragged, yeah.
getting a little bit annoyed that the stitching on the seam is coming off, and that I keep remembering I need to find someone who maybe ask Maggie if they know how to sew to maybe fix it, as I've never learned how to do anything like that in my life, because I've always had somebody else to do it. So I've always had tailors and the like. The fact that I've got to make my own stimulant in the morning is a little bit annoying. But yes, I keep myself maybe apart as well from most people, trying to find the highest part of the tunnel and the biggest, highest room in the tunnels, or like still to try and lord it over everybody, even though there's no lording it over anybody here at the moment.
Fair enough. JT,
he's an arsehole.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name's Jason, and so I probably wake up not quite as early as Bobby, but I do like to keep an eye on him. So I have trained myself to get up maybe at 5 o'clock instead of 4 o'clock. Just about the time Bobby gets going, I can just make sure that when he's in the area, I've got an eye on him. We had a fight on Twitter a while back, and we can get into that later. But yeah, I actually have like maybe 12 little single serve instant coffee packets left that I managed to smuggle into the UK as I was fleeing the fall of the United States. I listened to a pre-recorded voicemail from my former partner, or my partner who I haven't heard from since we tried to flee the States, and yeah, so I've sort of thrown myself into whatever counts as activism down here in the tube by joining the Jesus People Party. Ostensibly, we are attempting to do time travel. I'm a little bit like nervous about talking about that with the other party members, though. That's sort of like it feels a little bit weird, but I sort of out of character real quick. What is the what sort of like tech level? Do we have access to the internet of any kind? Is it radio comms? What?
Oh, the internet is no longer a thing. It is. Okay. This is the dark. That dark timeline. This is the darkest timeline. So there's. Oh wait, in that case, the internet is rife, but we just don't have any way to access it.
Okay.
So, it's alive. It became its own thing.
So I assume then that at some point in the night, some kind of note with like directions on my task for the day for the People's Front was dropped off by some kind of runner. So I check on that, keep the details of that to myself, and decide that I'm gonna use one of my little instant coffee packs, and I count them to make sure none went missing in the night. There's a lot of shady folks around here.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that. Jason. And finally, last but not least, Maggie. What's your morning routine like before we set off?
Maggie sort of wakes up a little bit slower, by comparison to the rest of the party. She's 67. She's not yet at that age of sort of advanced years where she gets up ridiculously early. She's still at that sort of at that level of her life where she wakes up and feels her years. But Maggie, for a 67-year-old in the dystopian apocalypse that is this world, is basically if Julia Childs went Mad Max.
Amazing.
So
I'm in love with Maggie already. Thank you very much.
Yeah, she's this big, tall West Country. She worked all her life on the farm, and then she was in London for the recording of the next season of the Great British Bake Off when it all went down. And she's really taken to the apocalypse really well. So she knows a fantastic rat stew recipe. She hasn't tried human yet, but should the opportunity arise, she's not willing to rule that out because survival comes first. So she sort of like got the remains of what was once a sort of a Julia Childs like working apron like pantsuit, but the arms are gone, and she's just got like rolling pins over skulls that she's done herself on both her forearms. Her sort of like now going grey, but her once like purple blue hair, that purple wash that all the ladies get. She takes out her curlers and just sort of like bandanas it up and stuff like that. And she's just wielding a rolling pin with a massive travel bag in like corduroy, like hemp style material. The really tough bags that look Mary Poppins style bag with all her remaining cakes in, and potentially the last bag of flour on the planet, which she's saving for a rainy day.
I love that. I love that idea. You've got that bag of flour, goes, oh, I can't just yet. And you're like, you do have lots of food on you, so you're like, why would you use it? So that
Exactly
makes total sense. So, looking at the map itself, and I will describe it to you folks if you don't have it.
Before we go into that,
Yep.
I've had messages from both Fiona and JT about this. I'm hoping that on Twitch, when it's actually finished uploading, it'll be fine, but at the moment my internet is just too slow, so it is being very, very janky and very, very slow. I think it's still now showing the break video, but hopefully if you're watching this later after the stream, it will actually be fine. We've got multiple backups being recorded, so it'll go up onto YouTube, so it'll be fine. But
if you do want someone to take it,
we will organise
the stream.
Yeah,
and
we will organise something about fixing all this at another date. But so if anybody's actually managing to watch this, well done. It's what I will say.
Yeah. If anything, it's just nice to actually run games. So hey guys, forget stream stuff. We can swear now. Hooray!
Wait, we couldn't swear before?
I don't know. We weren't getting merch before, but maybe now.
Oh.
Anyway, so looking at the map itself, this inaccurate map, or what you remember, what has been known about the London Underground. You are sort of up in the northwest corner a little bit, where you are at Islington, and beyond that you can see there's Highbury, there is Cherry Grove, Black Horse Road, Warren Street, Church Street, going off to the west. Looking at this map,
that is a very bizarre map. I've just noticed where Epping is, and that's really
yes, it's
wow.
It's not accurate. It's fine. So you are at the top, and then Mogg's End is on right at the bottom. Is on the red line, the central line, sorry, and it's at the meeting point with District Line and the Piccadilly line. Essentially, that's
the circle on the red, blue, and green line. Cool.
That's exactly it. So that's where you need to get to. Now it's quite far, and because of the way the encumbrance works in the session, I've worked it out because thankfully we've got that shared document of everything. You can only move per day 4 stops. At each stop, you can choose if you want to search around for supplies or something like that, or not at all. But basically, you can move 4 stops, and then you have to rest and wait for another day. So my question to you folks is, which way are you going, or do you want to go yet? Do you have a plan to do something else? So I guess if you are going to move, you could either go towards Euston, which is on the northern line, or you can go towards Warren Street, which is on the Bakerloo line. Baker Street is in the west in this game. Euston is in the east in this game.
Oh, I've just found Islington. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's at the top.
I would say we'd head to Euston. 1, 2, and then down.
That makes sense to me.
Because the Bakerloo line has a lot more stops on it.
Yeah. And if we crossed onto the central line at any point, it would still be a really slow travel just because of how many stops are on that.
Yeah.
So it would.
However, Bobby is going to pull his I'm a Londoner, I've lived here my entire life, I know the underground, I'm the big bad boss of London. No, we've got to take the Bakerloo line. Bakerloo line is the correct way. It is how you get there. This is my memory from what we were before. This is what the maps show. I don't care what you think.
So that sounds like a proposition there. So Bobby, in terms of navigation, Bobby has said we should take the Bakerloo line. Okay,
and
so
he's
Bobby,
adamant, absolutely passionately.
well,
adamant.
I'm going to give you a minute on the clock. I want you to Say your arguments for the Bakerloo line, starting now.
So I grew up in London. I have lived my entire life here. I grew up on these, well, not streets. I grew up on the actual streets above ground. I know this tube. I know that the quickest way, it may not look like it on the map or anything like that on what you think, but the quickest way is we go across to Bakerloo and then we follow that all the way down. That is the route we must take. Even though it looks like it's quicker if we go down the Northern Line, but the distance between those stations is a lot further. We'd have to go up and then south, whereas Bakerloo would just keep going south. I've lived
Still
here.
got 25 seconds.
I may have 25 seconds, but I'm really struggling how hard to sell this. Yes, if we go the other way, we'd be walking a lot longer. We don't know what we would be seeing. Bakerloo Line, it's safe. Been down there a few times. I've got a few friends down there who hook me up every now and then, and well, there's probably some very nice ingredients down there for you, Maggie.
And
I'm
time.
sure you can make
time.
it.
Thank you, Bobby. Jason, what would be your argument for or against the proposition of using the Bakerloo line to get to your destination?
Just
You've
going to turn
got
the
1
light on.
minute starting now.
Yeah, great. So I think at the end of the day, we really understand that that Bobby never knows what he's talking about, and he's actually just kind of not a great dude. And I just disagree with his opinions on everything on principle, given our shared past. So I see the rest of my time to Maggie.
All right, Maggie, you've got 1 minute and 40 seconds.
Well, I'm not really from around here, but there's one thing that I am fairly certain of right now, and that is that Bobby, God love him, is a fucking idiot. So, the fact that the only time that Bobby has navigated down here was to reach his dealer, which it wasn't lost on me, young man. I'm aware of what friends and shifty eyes mean. I reckon we do what we best can to understand how many days of traveling we've got. We've got, and Maggie will open a bag and do a quick count. How many days food supply have we actually got, Fiona?
So you've got a lot of food,
Yeah.
but each of you has to eat, and essentially whenever you use a resource, you roll your so you can, on this case you would roll a d12. Anytime you roll a 1, it goes down. So it's likely that you'll be fine. But also if you roll 3 1s, you go from a d12 all the way down to a d6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got enough food for what could be a 5 to 7 day journey, depending on which route we take. I'm not opposed to the idea of going to Bakerloo, but if it is, we do this smart. Let's try and find ourselves a map or someone that knows the way. I think, not too far off, my old assistant is about.
And time, that is it. Yeah, your assistant is there with you. Yeah, describe your assistant actually for us, Maggie. What are they pronouns if you're supposed to give them? What do they look like?
I don't think that Maggie's assistant is actually a person.
Excellent.
I think Maggie's assistant is a wooden spoon with a pair of googly eyes. And what is literally, again, another Mad Max style outfit that Maggie has made. So the wooden spoon has a pigeon skull that has been like carefully wrapped on top, war paint style, like blackened eyes and stuff like that. This is Mr. Cleaver.
Mr. Cleaver, fantastic. I'm going to add that quickly.
Because you can't have laughter without slaughter.
So here's the thing, Mr. Cleaver, because he is your mate. Doesn't obviously you describe them as an inanimate object.
That is correct.
They they are also given the time in this party. They don't say anything. They don't say anything, but you bob them up and down, like and you're like, "What's that, Mr. Cleaver?"
Exactly. So yeah.
I'm imagining. Are you wearing a red and white spotted dress and have pigtails?
Yeah.
What's that, Mr. Cleaver? We can't do that to them. It would clean up the mess.
All the mess. Yes, exactly. Very much so. But essentially, just so people know for the voting things, Mr. Cleaver mates always vote with mates, essentially. So I get 2 votes and 1 from a spoon. Well, so this is what it is. So let's go to the vote. So folks want to send me secretly what the vote is. Let me know, and we'll go from there.
So this is voting as to whether we want to go to Bakerloo or not.
Yes, the proposition is that has been given by Bobby is that you should go west to use the Bakerloo line to get to your thing. So send it to me either through Zoom secretly, or you can do it through the Discord. You can also, I will say as well, you can choose to spoil your vote, so just say something nonsensical to me, which I know you'll do anyway, or choose to abstain. Just double check. Just make sure I've got that rule right as well. Yes, mates are included. They usually side with the character they are following.
Yes.
Have you sent me your votes, Ben?
I'm just doing it now. Sorry, I have to get you up on Discord.
No worries, no worries. All right, well, the votes are in, everyone. Unsurprisingly, the proposition to go to the Bakerloo line has been rejected 3-1.
Damn you all.
So Bobby, you sort of like all in favour, and you put your hand up. And nobody else does. So unfortunately, we can't get that proposition to go again this day. So even if you go in a different direction, you can't go towards, or you can't use the Bakerloo line this day. That's the thing to know. But I'm open for other propositions and proposals in regards to your navigation. Does anyone want to nominate something?
Well, I suppose we could do the other one. What was it? The Jubilee line. I vote we go via the Jubilee line.
All right. So is there anyone that wants to give an offer in terms of like support or against this now? Because obviously we've got Maggie who's raised the proposition that we should move towards the Jubilee line.
I second that, or third it, because there's a spoon.
In the break, I'm gonna go get a wooden spoon for this. I have so many downstairs. I was not prepared.
No, I don't think we will. Yeah. All right. Fair enough. All right. Well, those people who have argued, it's far too warm. Yeah, do not do that. All right then. So I would ask those folks to again send me your votes. I want to see who. So the proposition is to move towards the Jubilee line. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah. So we'll be travelling along the not Piccadilly.
The Victoria line.
Victoria line. Thank you. Yeah.
So yes, you're heading. Yes, you'll probably be moving 4 stops, and yeah, you'll first hit probably the Northern line, but then the Jubilee line is always. But you're heading east. That is the route you would like to go. Perfect.
So we travel to Euston and then on to Waterloo, and then from Waterloo to Stratford, I think, and then that way.
Sure. Yeah. Again. Yeah. So that's fine. Yeah. Yeah. I was like, oh, the Victoria. Anyway. So the votes are in, folks. Unsurprisingly, the motion passes 3-1. Everyone puts their hands up, bar Bobby, including the stick. I like the idea. The spoon has hands, but like a little stick. Yeah, puppetry.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now we're going to do the resolution to this. So we've agreed where you're going, but we now need to do the second part. Is like, do you actually succeed in where you're going? So we're going to do a navigation roll, which I'm going to find very quickly. So navigation roll. Whenever we do rolls in Smog of Cod,
Smog of Cod.
Mogg, I know my brain is like working out of the floor. We make up basically a dice pool from our stats, any relevant skill that you want to include, any mates you want to include, and any gear items you want to include as well. So to start with, sorry, I'm rushing back and forth in my sheet. It's a navigation check. So ideally, the main navigation stat I would advise you as a speaker would be to use Noggin as your stat. However, you do not have to use Noggin. So you choose one of your stats to use for this role, and then you say you do this secretly, and you can choose how much of that stat you wish to put in your pool. So for example, if you were going to use Noggin and you had 3 in Noggin, you can choose to put between 1 to 3 in that particular pool. So I'll let you think about that for a second. Like I said, it doesn't have to be that stat, but have a think about it essentially, because I'm going to ask you to justify it at the end. Second part, you may add up to you can add up to further d6s depending on an appropriate skill. So if you think you've got a skill that can work for this, you can add that skill's number into it. So like say for example, if you happen to have, I don't know, mapping or something like that, and it's like a 1, you can add a d6 into it. You don't have to do that, but it's just if you want to. You can also add a d6 up to an item that is relevant from your stuff. This can also include weapons where appropriate, and this is basically your stuff die. So you've got your stat die, your skill die, your stuff die, and you've also, and then finally you've got, you should have some skills, David. I'll look for you in a second. And then you can also add, any d6 up to one of your mates as well. So for example, if Maggie did want to include Mr. Cleaver in it, she can also add a d6 to it as well. Once you form these individual dice pools, you just got to keep a track of them. Let me make sure you definitely have skills, David. Let me just.
I'll get David's skills up if you
Thank
like.
you.
So that way you can keep running it.
Yeah, it's page 20 on
Yep.
the PDF. Thank you very
David,
much.
your skills are insider trading, which is 3 and comes off Bants.
That one.
Yeah, go for the next one.
Free market trading, and free market is in quotation style marks, which comes off. It's a 2 and it comes off Noggin. 3 and it comes off Bants. Yep. Sunday Drive 2, which comes off Dash. And Tai Chi 1, which comes off Hench.
Amazing. All right, so just to recap, so you need to have a stat die, which could be up to 3, because obviously I know it's between 1 and 3. Add a relevant skill if you wish to add one, or if there is, if you have a relevant skill, add a relevant item/weapon, or add a relevant mate. You don't have to, but those are just relevant. Basically, the idea is that you have a nice big dice pool between you folks are. What I'm going to ask you next, once you've got all that, I'm going to go around and ask you what you've put in and how you're going to justify it. But I want you to make sure that if you're rolling physically, you keep dice separate, so you know which one's your stat die, you know which one's your stuff die, etc., etc. If you're rolling physically, if you're rolling online, I just try and have different tabs open, or just be like, this is this guy, this is that guy, etc., because it becomes important later, depending on what you roll. If we're okay to go with you first, Maggie, can you describe what you're putting in, reveal what you're putting in, and then describe what you're doing to help you get in the right direction?
So I'm putting in my cheery my Bants 3, my cheery services skill 2, and I'm putting in my my Bake Off winning cake, which is 1. And what I'm pushing for here is that we exist around other survivors and groups, and I'm sure someone here used to work on the underground and is more than happy to help us out, because after all, those greeters and those helpers were the most cheery people imaginable. So I'm basically asking for assistance in like, oh, you need to go this way, then this way, then this way from other people in our surroundings.
Perfect, good to know. Okay, going then to Jason. Yep.
Rules question.
Of course.
So the skills are based upon the skills are based upon the what is usually called an attribute, but it's called a stat. Yeah. So how does that work?
So you're right. Thank you. I did forget one little thing. So thank you for that. So when you're adding a skill, you've got to make sure it is a relevant stat to it. So, for example, if you were using your insider trading thing, what's the skill? What's the stat associated with that?
The stat I think was Bants. Yep.
Bants. So you'd have to use Bants in order to use that skill.
Okay. So when it comes to me, I'll. So if I wanted to use, just as an example, if I wanted to use something like Bants, I would not be able to then use Sunday Drive because that's based upon Dash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. But also, again, we can work it around. I think it's a bit silly, but that is what I've got from the rule book. Jason, can you reveal your pool to us? What are you putting in, and can you justify how we're going to get through to the Jubilee line?
So I'm gonna use both of my 2 in Dash, and then also put 2 more in from chasing fox hunters, because I'm sort of good at following clues and and information and science and stuff to get where we need.
Amazing.
But I don't have any stuff.
No stuff that's relevant and no mates as well. Perfect. So you've got a pool of 4 essentially. That sounds great. And then Bobby, what are you putting in? That's all right. Yep.
Oh God.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Love it. Perfect. Excellent. Excellent. No, that is exactly what I want from you folks. Okay. I'm just trying to think. I think we're fine. So yes. So you've got two. David's rolling 2 dice. Bobby's rolling 2 dice. Jason's rolling 4 dice, and Maggie's rolling 6 dice.
6, yeah. Bands 3, Cheery Services 2, Bake Off winning cake 1. Would you like us as the GM to send you in messages our things beforehand, so you've got that? No, okay, that's fine.
So no. So all you need to know is basically what you're looking for is the highest number between all of you. So obviously the highest number is 6. If you get that, that's brilliant. You need 1 on that essentially.
Okay.
I think. No, I'll come to that in a minute. Sorry, I keep forgetting this. So the other thing I want to mention is that I normally also would be rolling dice as well. I would be rolling the party anxiety thing, but currently it's at 0 because it's starting in nice and lovely. But who knows where we'll go from that as well. Now, I did forget something, but it's going to make sense in this. Basically, the whole of the underground is dark, pretty dark, so you can't really see much. So it is quite tricky to get to places where you have juice. Though juice is your sort of resource that you can do to lighten up the load. You've only got 1 in juice, so that's the only thing. So I can say to you now, we'll say you voted on it a little bit, so you can use it if you want to. You can up the lighting around you for the rest of the day, so it goes from like pretty dark to sort of less dark, so it's easier to succeed essentially, and that's for the rest of the day. But it is a 1 in 4 chance that you might run out of juice essentially. So would you like to make it easier for you to succeed, or what?
On that, can I, in a way, put a motion forward?
Sure. 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 Yeah. Maggie, Jason, any opposition to increasing the light?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. We know this area, Bobby.
That's fair. So I'll give that as a freebie because I didn't mention it right at the beginning when we should have set up. So that's my bad on that one. So can somebody roll for me a D4 and let me know what they get?
Who has it as the
Available.
they're on
No,
the...
so it's just a party.
Yeah, but I was going to say, because it's a party
short
stat, but who was the one who put it into the party?
Oh, I think it was
Jason.
Jason put it in.
Okay.
I have a D4 if you don't.
I just found one. I got one.
Okay,
Yeah, go for it.
Just
3.
I just like
So
the
that's
idea
fine.
that I know it's a party
That's the
stat, but
same
it's...
number I rolled as well, so that's good.
All right, so it goes from pitch dark to shadowy. So the light sort of illuminates this huge big tunnel. So that's brilliant. So that means you only need it decreases the difficulty level. So that's good. So I'm glad I remember that. Okay, so now you're like, all right, we're ready to go. So I need everyone to roll their dice. Let me know how many 5s and 6s folk get. Essentially, we'll do that first. We'll do the 5s and 6s first. 1s we'll get to.
I got 1 5 or 6. I got 1 6.
1
I
6.
got
Okay,
2 6s and 1 5, so that's 3 successes, no 1s.
brilliant. Dude. Yep. Brilliant. So which die was the which die was the 1 on? And so, okay, so as you're sort of trundling through, you succeed. Like you go in the right direction because you've got the highest number, which is 6, means you succeed. Fantastic. The issue though is that somebody at the back is blabbermouthing away, blah blah blah, to the point where he becomes quite hoarse. So David, you reduce your bants down by 1.
I also rolled a 1 on one of my stats on my dash.
On your dash, yeah, you're getting tired. Anytime you roll a 1 on your stat, it reduces by 1. Nope. You. Okay, wait. So hang on. What do you? Do you go to 0? Sorry, I didn't hear what you said. Okay. All right. So you've gone to 0. All right. I need you to make a roll on your bants. I need you to roll on the upper stiff upper lip table. Let me find that for you.
Am I going to get to eat human being faster than I thought?
Possibly at this rate.
Please let me re-roll.
Where is this party? Sorry.
I feel really uncomfortable.
You're doing all right. You're doing all right. Procedure. Okay, so yeah, so you're rolling on stiff upper lip table. Roll a d6 for me.
4.
Okay, you have a wobbly upper lip. The
How do you wobble an upper lip?
That's what it says here. The characters' max noggin and bants are reduced by 1. So your noggin and bants are reduced by 1.
So my bounce now goes to -1.
It just goes to 0, essentially. So I'll tell you what happens in a second. So you got 0 and your noggin will be reduced by 1. So what happens is you hear blah, 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 and then you hear a woof, as unfortunately Bobby has talked himself so much, he's talked himself unconscious and he's lying on the floor. But you are moving your way slowly to the thing. I'll say by this point, because you've moved a couple of stops, so that's your navigation for the rest of the day done, essentially, because you managed that. But as you're getting there, yeah, Bobby's on the floor, unconscious.
I told you we were going the wrong way! As I trip over and knock myself unconscious.
Pretty much.
I wouldn't think less of you to give him a quick swift one between the legs whilst he was unconscious.
I'm gonna wait for us to run out of Deuce and it be a little darker before I start the kind of shenanigans.
All right, that's fair.
So you can get him back up, possibly.
Leave him. Leave him behind.
No.
He's more hassle than he's worth. Leave him.
That's it.
Rob him and leave him.
Rob him and leave him.
Yeah.
There's a way to heal. Sorry, I'm looking for it. There's a way to heal up your things. I think it's meds.
Oh yeah, page 72 it says Molly or 24 bongs safe rest. I don't know what that means.
24 hours. As in 24 hours.
Yes, 24 hours.
Oh.
Yes, yeah. So as you're proceeding through, there's like bong bong as you on the hour essentially. You do have some Molly on you, so you could I'm now again. Is there a proposal to use Molly on your currently unconscious friend to bring them back?
I like the deathly silence there. No one jumping forward.
It's because she said friend.
Party member, how's that?
Like, I think we should. Like, not a big fan of this Bobby fellow, if I may, but we need to get moving and just look at him. I just kind of like rub a little bit of dirt off my boots onto his suit as he's like on there on the floor. Just gonna be sort of like ostensibly because I'm trying to wake you up, but I'm also just getting your suit dirty.
Like Toto,
so
are you awake? Are you
part.
awake? But kind of also rubbing the.
All right. So yes, the proposition for the two awake members is using Molly on 3. Of course. Does Mr. Cleaver have any anything to add to this conversation, Maggie?
No, Mr. Cleaver. I know he's a pretentious prick, but we're not that hungry just yet.
All right. All those in favour of bringing Bobby back, say aye. Yay. Let's get one there.
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah, makes sense. All right. Can somebody roll me a d4? Because that's how much Molly you've got, and let me know what you get.
Well, David put it into the party, so David should roll it.
All right.
If we use the Molly, we eat him tomorrow.
This is when my own Molly kills me, isn't it?
I know. No, it doesn't kill you. I don't think so.
You just might run out of it.
We'll find out.
Oh, Jesus Christ, David.
You got a
You
one.
know me and dice. You should
I
know
do
that I will
correct.
always roll a 1.
So first up, you heal up your bants to 1. That's good. But then I need you to roll on the stiff upper lip chart again. For God's sake.
I'm going to roll the 1 this time.
Did you roll a 1? A d6 on a 1?
Rolled a 1.
All right. Total loss. No. Sure. Total loss of stiff upper lip. The character breaks down entirely and is no longer able to function. They are out of the game. The party anxiety increases by 2. Nothing can help you now. We didn't even move anywhere.
We made it. We made it, and Bobby and Molly. This one clearly wasn't Molly. It was meant to be Molly, but it isn't Molly.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it to you, David. How does your character exit this part of the one shot?
Jason proposed it, so I guess I will.
Okay. All right. As Jason
This is a
waves,
suspect. This is a suspect.
Jason waves knows.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As we're looking at, because spoon, there's only one spoon about here, so it's just you with Mr. Cleaver jammed through your eyes.
Mr. Cleaver, no!
Not again, Mr. Cleaver. This is the 3rd time.
Where is Mr. Cleaver? I can't see Mr. Cleaver anywhere. There.
It's dark. It's dark now.
It's okay, Bobby. It's okay. Go to your sweet rest, summer child. Go to your sweet.
And long live Bobby, though he was briefly had an impact on all of us. What
I'm
I'll say,
gonna grab the spoon out, and just look at it, and be like a flashback to like watching Castaway and like the bloody Wilson volleyball, and just like hand it back to Maggie and be like, you know what? I don't just take it.
The awful thing is that with Bobby's blood, it actually looks more realistic, like a person now. Like bit of viscera has given it hair. It's got a grin. It's like, oh dear.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's call a break there. I know we've not got very far. We'll get a new character for David. No, we need it. Annoyingly, it has to be 3 people to play this bloody game. So we'll call a quick break. And then we'll work out how to get a new person back into thing. We'll make it because you will make it to 4 stops essentially because you did that role.
In which case, we would be making it to Euston, which was 4 stops. So that's a major hub.
Perfect, and then we will meet the new character. So all right, we'll have that break. David, you stay on the call, and I will go through your character sheet again. No.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, no, it's fine.
Where's the fastest player?
We're going on an adventure. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's death. Not quick is
Yeah,
death, but still.
I've played what's it called? Pendragon.
Yeah.
Where
You
where
die in
I
character
didn't-
creation.
I died, and then my next of kin died, and my next of kin's next of kin died, and I was like, I don't want to play this game. I've just gone through 3 characters, and I've not even started playing a character yet.
Pretty much. Yep. You know what? We'll find the flaws with the game. I don't mind the rolling, but I'm like, if you only set up one, then you're fucked. And I was like, oh, you did set one up. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. I was gonna say, JT, Ben, you head on off. David, you stay here.
You don't know
Bad boy,
where.
stay.
Stay here. Roll a D66 for her. Yeah, I don't know why I'm having problems saying that word out loud.
32.
Ooh. I think I might have. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I just noticed I could have bloody re-rolled one of those ones. I've got jammy.
How about this? How about re-roll it now? Re-roll the
The one that killed me.
re-roll that one. Tell me what you get.
I got a 6.
Fucking jammy git. Okay. So that is
But I like
You-
what we can.
you held it together. I think you just appeared behind them with. What's wrong?
I just they leave me. They walk off, and then when they get to Euston, I'm there again.
Yeah.
I've just got an eye patch on this time.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then we can explain it's because you use jammy. That's
Also,
yeah.
I did
Don't
just
worry,
roll a
I-
32 as well, which is the same character.
Yeah.
So
So that works.
that works quite well
works.
on both levels.
Yeah,
So.
that's fucking hilarious.
But we won't tell them that until we restart.
Yeah. That's,
So I'll remain silent, and then we'll go through all that stuff.
Perfect.
Cool.
Yeah,
Right, I'm just gonna go and get us.
Good catch on that. Yeah. Go
Yeah.
for it. Go for it. I'm gonna. Wow. So that's 3. 4. David, can you roll me 5d6 for me, please, and let me know what the highest number is? Nice. Cool. Good to know.
I've had to turn on like a side lamp, so I'm not literally just fully in shadow.
In darkness.
But it's got one of those. Oh, hang on. It just randomly muted me. I am muted. Why am I? I'm not muted. I'm not muted, am I? Everyone's muted. What the fuck just went on?
Oh, I don't know. That wasn't me.
Oh, don't know what happened there.
It might be one of the other guys. One of the other folks.
Yeah. Well, they're both muted, but obviously they're not around at the moment.
Yeah.
It's got one of those old school bulbs in it, so it's so it's throwing heat at me.
I was gonna say it's gonna be really warm.
Yeah. So not only is it hot here anyway, I've now got fucking lamp fucking heat.
Reaction.
What you got now, then, David? What are we playing?
Oh, it's good. Wait,
It's a
we'll
secret.
Introduce it when we restart. We'll restart. it.
It's absolutely genius.
It is
Okay.
fucking genius.
Okay. I will, with bated breath, as is usual. Okay. I am. I forgot to go get.
Get a spoon.
Get a spoon.
Go get a spoon.
Get a spoon.
All I'm just imagining, this is just post-apocalyptic Toy Story right now, isn't it?
No, it's supposed to be serious in that. I think the thing is though, like, because I know it's supposed to be talky and stuff like that. I'm just like, oh, you not even got very far, and you're already dead. I'm like, ugh. I like the.
I did roll a couple of ones, and it was I think that was a little bit too easy to kill a character, but.
in, and they have sort of dealt with it because they couldn't see you because it was pitch black per se. They could feel something was there, and they sort of look around and they're like, and they kind of what they do, but the teacher's forcing them to, like, it's very important, this sort of history. So they're very wary of you, but they're not hostile. But they're sort of like, they're like children being like, "Who's that? Don't know. Don't look. Don't look." Essentially. Sauron. Yeah, exactly. They're frightened. They're wary and frightened. I love it. But fuck it, I'm going to put that proposal up. Like, Maggie, do you have anything to add to this proposal of convincing the children that this Bobby is Sauron?
I'd like to take it one step further.
Yep.
Which is that, yes, convince them that this Bobby is Sauron, and thus we are the Fellowship and need their help.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. Okay.
And the One Ring is the jam roly poly, because there's only one of it left.
Oh, amazing. Bobby, is there anything you want to add to this proposal? Because technically, you're still part of the party.
Even if we're not apparently intent. I'm just kidding.
So you're agreeing with this proposal? I'm just double checking, Bobby. Okay. People can. No. Fair enough. All right. Everyone can vote secretly towards me. I assume Mr. Cleaver is going to be voting along party lines. Yep. Just getting. All right.
If Mr. Cleaver claims 2 eyes, that means that he has 2 eyes. Who knows what would be unlocked if that were to happen?
Oh my god. Oh no. Okay, yay. Yeah.
It's unanimous.
No, it's gonna be a 4 because Mr. Cleaver is also voting.
Yeah,
So
it's unanimously passed.
it is unanimously passed. I will ask though, is this something you want to put into party law? And what I mean by that is any proposal that passed can also be made as part of the manifesto. So I propose to members of the Ramonas that any person you meet, it doesn't have to be these children, but any sort of NPC, you can convince them that you have Sauron in the party. That just so happens to be Bobby. All right.
And we are escorting him to where we will defeat him at Mount Doom.
at Mogg's End.
Mogg's End, yeah.
All right, JT, can you please write that into the law? So what that means now, so that should you don't ever have to vote on that again. So if you need to convince somebody that Bobby is Sauron, you don't need to do it. You don't need to roll on it. You don't need to vote on it again. It has happened essentially. So that is brilliant. I think that's the case. Let me double check before I forget. I have to always double check these things, but I pretty much once it's party law, it's party law. Yes, that's right. Yep, cool. Bobby is Sauron. Party law, perfect. So, now that we've sort of done that, we now need to do the resolution roll. So same thing, same procedure again. So a relevant stat that you think is useful to that. I'm going to leave it up to your discretion on this one. So it can be any stat you want to use. With that, you may choose to add in a relevant skill, a relevant stuff item, or a relevant mate. And let me know, and we'll go around again and justify what you're doing to do this. I mean, you kind of already said it, but I'm just going to do it anyway, just so that we get to the habit of it. So we'll go the opposite way around. That's all right. So Bobby, what are you putting in, and how are you justifying? How are you going to try and convince these children to help your Ramona's team? Not good. That worked so well for you last time.
I used Bance last time. That was
that's true.
This one I've got.
Okay.
I'm going to keep the stats that I had from dying, even though technically.
Yep. Mm. That sounds good. Look, shinies.
Dwarven gold.
You-
Dwarven gold.
Maybe that's the ring. That's the ring-shaped piece of gold. Is your
Yeah, if the
golden
jam roly
lens.
poly doesn't work, absolutely.
I don't. What is a jam roly poly? Sorry, American.
Jam roly poly is. Oh my god, David's doing a blindfold.
Before you describe what the jam roly poly is, David, I just want to double check. I'm going to ask, are you putting in 2 noggins or are you putting in 1? Because you can choose up to 1, up to your thing. You're putting 2 in. Good to know. Right.
So a total of
continue.
4.
What is
A
roly
total
poly?
of 4.
Jam roly poly is a very thin sponge. I get this mixed up. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, the thin sponge with jam and cream, but it's rolled round. So on the side,
Yeah.
it looks like a roly poly essentially.
You might call it a roulade or things like that. It has like a lot of similar names. A lot of other things have like a similar technique in it. So occasionally, like Baked Alaska, the sponge will have that's
Yes,
the roulade
at the bottom.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, it's basically a very basic bitch baking thing that the British people do. And
Don't listen to them, Mr. Cleaver. The jam roly-poly is iconic.
Jason, what are you using for this role?
Okay, so like mechanically as a party, we were working together. But so Bobby is Sauron, but we aren't Sauron's friends.
I'd say you're trying to get help. From what it sounded like, you're trying to convince these children, this teacher, whatever, to come and to help you on your journey towards Mogg's End. That's what I'm taking from that, if that's helpful.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to use all three of my hench and all three of my union eyes to convince the children that they are part of the Hobbit militia, or representing the Hobbit militia that is going to help escort Sauron to Mogg's End.
Yes!
Then I'm going to add one more for a total of 7 dice with my stack of leaflets as I pass out my recruitment flyers. Like, we need you.
Well, also, we're demonstrating the danger that is Sauron is.
Yes, absolutely. Fantastic. I absolutely love that, Jason. That's something that proved to me. Finally, Maggie, what are you bringing to this?
So it's Bant's 3, because Maggie's a talker. And then it's the only band skill I have is cheery services. So I'm gonna be the Samwise this party, which is it's a great burden that we carry, but we do so with love in our hearts. I said literal cheery service. With obviously Mr. Cleaver supporting this because kids love a puppet. That's the first time I've heard Fiona full on guffaw laugh in 15 games with them. And then I'm gonna sort of like pass around some of the jam roly-poly because kids love sugar, and like hopped up Hobbit militia sounds like the best thing imaginable.
Amazing.
So that is 3 + 2 + 1 + 1 for 7.
Fantastic. All right. So again, roll your pools of dice. Make a note of any of the highest number, but of any ones and what stat or thing they refer to. Oh, I think, and I need to roll 2 stress die as well. Mm-hmm.
I didn't roll a 1. No ones.
All right, go for it. What was yours, David? All right, 2 successes.
Okay. On my first. On my first one, which is my stat, I get 1 6. Yep. On my second one, which is my cheery services, I get a pair of 6s.
Nice.
On Mr. Cleaver, I get a 3, and then on the jam roly-poly, I get a 1.
Okay, jam roly-poly, you get a 1. All right, good to know.
It's the item.
I'll come. Yeah.
No, I suspect it's more that they polish it off.
Yes, it basically reduces it down to 0. So down by 1 essentially, which I assume is gone.
It's only a 1, the jam roly-poly.
And you lose that, unfortunately. But yes, it's and Jason.
Yes. So my highest, so I got 3 total hits, all 5s.
Nice.
I rolled a 1 on one of my hench dice, or hench, excuse me. So I think that takes me down to 2 hench from 3.
Yep.
And then I also rolled a 1 on my stack of leaflets, so I do not have those anymore.
Yeah, you've handed them all out at this point. Yeah, very good. And I
rolled... use as serviettes for jam roly-poly face.
Yeah, they hold the you give it out and then you give the jam roly-poly. That's amazing. All right. One last thing, let me just double check. So yes, so you've done all that. That's brilliant. I have also rolled the anxiety dice as well, but you've got all the successes you need, because it's 3 successes that you need on the 6, and you've all done that, so that's amazing. Unfortunately, though, I did roll a 1 on the party anxiety die. So that means the party must roll on the party upper lip table. So that is, let me find that for you. So anyone can roll a d6 + 2, and let me know what the final result is.
You don't know this. I say you don't know this about me yet. About me, JT. But I have the devil's own luck. Yeah, I activate as the anti-David. If myself and Will Wheaton ever meet, Will Wheaton's curse will be removed, but my luck will go with it.
Yes.
So would you like me to roll this?
Yes, please.
I'll give you a hint. A lower number is preferred.
And we're adding +2 to this result. Is that
Yeah, adding
correct?
+2 to the result, please. Yeah.
Okay. That's a 1.
Excellent. So you get a 3 total. Our lips cannot remain stiff much longer. Tickety boo for now, chap, no effect. So that's very good. So I guess maybe you're a bit overwhelmed by the stuff you have. The kids, they get very excited with the promise of reading the early end of class and jam roly poly. It's like a sea of
And going on an
kids-
adventure. They're going on
And
an
going on an
adventure.
I think for Maggie, it's a moment of like Maggie, who was again grandma of 7, is looking down at all these kids and wondering what has happened to her grandchildren out in the world, and he just sort of like mystically was just like,
It's like, oh.
Fiona,
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
question. I would like to add a prop because it is appropriate to the current story.
Oh, go on then. What prop have you got?
I have a prancing pony mug. Hold on, let me turn off. I have a prancing. It will show. It doesn't like it. Hold on, let me
if you
change my
take
circle.
it,
If
if
you
you
got
take
like
it
a book
back,
or something,
take it back
yeah.
to your chest.
Yeah, if you move back onto this, we can see.
There you are. There you are. There you are.
Yay!
Yeah, I have a prancing pony mug.
I like how we've all gotten props now.
I love it. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So yes, so you've convinced the children, and this teacher is like, "Oh, thank God," and sort of wanders off. And it's like, "Oh, I don't have to
They're
deal
your
with them."
problem now.
Yeah. So what I will say is that so you can have one of you can have as mates a sea of small children. They will count for 1 because they're small. And it's a sort of mechanic thing, but you can't have any more. You can have as many mates equal to your bants, if you see what I mean. So everyone.
May I claim the small children for Molly's sort of? Okay, yeah.
Yes, let's do a
Oh,
proposition.
yeah, pitch. Yeah.
Of course. I'm so stupid. We have to have a democracy vote about it, you fucking idiot. The thing is though, I'm going to let this happen, but I'm already aware who's going to win.
Fiona, shush! They didn't realise. I am 2 people.
But you know what? I want to hear the proposals, so I'll let. Yes, it is true, Bobby. Why should these children be your mates?
I am the Overlord. I am Sauron. They need, if they follow me, they have a means of production. They have the army.
All right. That's fine. Don't worry. Jason.
Oh, I'm throwing a wrench in this. I also propose that the minion pack is Bobby's because I was rolling with Hench and Unionize. Is I want to unionize the little orcs to eventually take him down from inside, and so they will be his hopefully.
Fantastic.
I love it, but also hate it.
So Maggie would like to put forward the idea that Maggie has 1, raised many children that have then produced many grandchildren, so knows how to sacrifice it. 2, everyone knows it's the old character that brings about the downfall of the great evil by hiring younger people to do the work for them, then showing up at the last minute with all the added experience to just push it over the edge. So clearly, myself and Mr. Cleaver are the best bet to handle these children because none of you. Also, he has no depth perception. How is he going to spot trouble coming for these kids?
That's why he has minions. They'll do the scouting.
We are not forming an infantry.
All right. Settle down, party members. My God. All right. So the proposal we're voting on first is that Bobby should take on the small sea of children as their mates. So can I get the votes in for that, please? King Bob. Yeah. Well, guess what, folks? It's a tie. Oh no! Don't give me that. I'm not. I'm neutral. I'm not like the Speaker of the House. I'm supposed to be neutral as well. All right.
Or roll a dice.
We'll go. Or roll a dice. But I've got to be fair on this. So now we'll go for because we've done the Bobby's one, so I can't vote on that again today. So we'll go for Maggie's one. So see if children should be part of Maggie's mates brigade. Can I get a vote for that, please?
My votes
it's a
always
tie.
come with a reason.
So Jason kind of smirks a little smugly and suggests that since neither of you two were able to convince the children to follow your lead, that we should vote on having them follow my lead.
Ooh, devious. All right. So voting for Jason's proposal that Jason should take the Sea of Children.
What is Jason's proposal, and why should Jason be their leader?
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of experience with organizing, organizing activist stuff. I have door-to-door activism, chasing fox hunters, leaflet making, and I feel like I could get a lot of help with leaflet making since I'm now out of leaflets to grow this sort of pack of children that want to help us out in the underground. And then I'm good at unionizing, so I have all the skill sets, I have the experience for doing all of this, and it really places me as the correct and right choice in this proposal.
All right. Jason. 3-2, I'm assuming. The motion passed, and you can add to your sheet Sea of Small Children 1. They count as 1. And the children are like, hooray! Adventure!
What other game do you know that you can actually just pick up a group of children and have them follow you?
Yeah, they're around with you, but unfortunately you can't. So the final bong sort of goes, and you realise that the night has now fallen, and you think it's safer to stay in this particular area with the children. And because it's Euston as well, it is a safe zone. So the children sort of snuggle up next to you. They'll take the blackboard down and they'll switch it to I don't know, their entertainment stuff. I don't know what it is now, like math.
It's a pre-drawn picture of a little girl playing noughts and crosses on a blackboard.
Yes. Yeah. It's time out essentially. Yeah. There's no more lessons today. The teacher does not return essentially because you're in a safe zone. You don't need to do any awareness check or anything like that. You don't need to be on watch. The children are actually very good and sit around and stuff like that. So I will now fast forward to the next day. So first things first. The light has now sort of ended. So if you want to get back to that sort of, what did I say? It was like a darkly dimmed, I think it was called. I can't remember what I said. You need to use your juice again. Shadowy, sorry. So it's currently pitch dark as you wake up and get ready for the day. So I would like to know if you would like to do a juice check to increase the light so that you can hopefully be able to get on with your day.
I think we have to because of the children.
Yeah.
Cool. What I'll say, because I'd make it easier, is that, well, actually, not that I'm trying to derail this campaign any further, but technically you need to make a vote on it. So I'm going to ask then, if you want to vote on every morning that you use a juice to get ahead and light the thing, you can write it into party law. So is that something that folks would like to do?
I would, at least until we run out of it, and I would like to make the amendment that when we run out of it, we will attempt to barter rather for more juice at the next safe zone.
Exactly, that's what probably would happen. All right. So for those, we'll just do an open one because it'll just be easier. For those in favour of using juice every morning to increase the light level, say aye.
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 I see the children and Mr. Cleaver also say aye. So that passes. As if you could write that into the party manifesto, JT, that'd be great. So that basically every morning we use a juice roll. I just realised because otherwise we're just gonna be constantly going around in circles and never getting to Mogg's End.
Oh my god! I just realised that the juice is Eladriel's light.
And they're like, ooh. All right, so yes, so you need free successes before. Okay, so you can move 4 stops again. Which direction do you want to go?
We need to go.
I'm guessing
down, don't we?
south now.
Yeah,
We're
south.
on the northern line now, aren't we? So the black line,
Yeah.
just for people who don't
Yeah.
know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bobby
there
is not going to
any,
be argumentative at this point.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So you get to
1,
Angel.
2, 3, 4. It's actually faster for us to go across to Waterloo, down to Stratford, and then from Stratford to Mogg End, running that way. It's more lines, but it's faster by an entire day.
So are you putting a proposal up, Maggie?
Yeah, I propose that we travel across to the Jubilee line and then down to the Central line, and then from the Central line on to District, because the Stratford to Aldwych is one entire thing. There's nothing. Oh no, is that Liverpool Lime Street on both there? Liverpool Street, is that on both? The yellow and the red?
Yes, it is, yes.
Okay, I think it's about the same then. 1 minute, I'm just
Oh.
kind of again, I missed that.
That's
That
okay,
was
that's
there.
okay, that's all right.
3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is a day faster to do it this way.
So that's the proposals to use that route.
Yeah.
So go for it.
And then down. Yeah.
Also, I don't know what it means, but all the black stops are danger stops, and that doesn't sound good. So I also agree with this proposal.
Well, at least one of the stops is a danger stop for us on this route as well, because we'll go to Canada Water and then Liverpool Street, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 Bailiff Park right before Mogg End.
So no, remember you can move. You'll be able to in each day. You move 4 stops.
4 stops, yeah. So
Oh, it's a dash. It's a dash.
Oh, I was thinking it was only black dashes. No, never mind.
no,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
dashes.
never mind. Okay.
They're all dashes.
But-
I don't understand.
No, but
no,
so the
circles.
safe zones are the circles.
Yeah.
So you're at a
Oh,
safe
okay,
zone
so
currently.
okay.
Yeah.
So we'd
Don't
have to
worry.
stop at Waterloo.
Yeah.
No, we
Yes.
and then
Yes, excellent. Yes, so I will say yes. So you can move up to 4 stops. You don't have to. I just assume that you want to get there quicker. But
Yeah.
obviously, if you just want to get, hey, we just want to get to
safe
Waterloo.
spaces.
Yeah, that's fine as well.
Bobby is going to put forward the
So-
motion that we stop at the because Bobby has myself with now.
Mhm. Oh. All right, fair enough. So that's the proposal. Does anyone have anything to add for or against it?
I suggest we stop at safe zones, not because anyone gives a rat's ass about Bobby's money, but because we have small children with us.
Yes, Jason. Yeah, I also agree. Whereas I might have sort of reflexively disagreed with Bobby on principle before the children's safety comes first. So
All right. All those in favour of Bobby's proposal to stop at safe zones when we're travelling?
yeah,
Motion passed completely. Do you want to put that into party manifesto law? You can, because it's been passed unanimously.
I suggest not, just because we can't always do it, and it will mean that in the future we are tied to an action that we can't always maintain. Okay. Yeah.
I agree with that.
So
Yep. Strand, which is a D12. So all of you will need to release plates. Thankfully, yeah. So party members first, that's right. So Maggie, if you can roll a D12.
I get a 6.
do you know how hard it is to see different types of dice when you've only
Perfect. Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect. Yep, easy enough. Yep, easy. That's into the party manifesto, not a problem. So goes back to that you passed that. Well done. We need to do a food check. I'll do that in a second. Let's do food now. So I keep forgetting. So it's breakfast. It's morning. All I see is I hate my life.
Yeah.
You have to describe. Say what it is. Right. Yeah. Nice. But your skill doesn't go down.
I would go on. Sorry, Fiona.
I was going to say your skill doesn't go down, but your stat will do. But go on. What were you going to say?
I would like to put forward a proposal because these kids are firm believers in unionization, and the union needs pamphlets. And what is paper but a ready supply? What is money but a ready supply of paper?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the stat. The stat was the one that got reduced, unfortunately. But yeah. Yeah.
I'm not re-rolling.
Brilliant.
I can see
so
Jason having a cup of coffee, and I am now having the twitches because I have not had caffeine for so long.
We take another break just now, because we're on the hour. We'll 5-10 minutes over, and then we'll do another hour, and then we'll call it that, and we'll come back to the game. So again, I know we just get all these rolls and stuff like that, but I think we're getting there in the thing. So if we
come back to it, I'm going to have to buy myself a cheap wooden spoon. I've got a Dremel downstairs and red paint plenty.
You can do it. All right, but yes, handing it back over to. Oh no! But yeah, let's take the take a break there then.
Right then. In typical fashion, these games, you don't have to try for comedy; it just fucking happens.
Just fucking genius.
Ben, can you roll me a D66 for me, please?
A D66, certainly can.
Thank you. So I can get the next encounter up before I forget.
That's 66.
66. Great. Oh, can you roll for me a D12 as well if you've got one?
I do. Yep.
I'm
using an online dice roller, so it's easy.
Perfect. Thank you.
8.
Nice. Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, calculator.net. Yeah. Calculator.net has an option to non-conventional dice, so you can literally do any dice, so I use that.
Very good. And then
Yeah, Murder Hornet.
ugh.
Yeah. and sound like a small car going off. Hmm. I'm not fond of any insect that has an attitude problem, as a general rule of thumb.
And it's just almost like it'll only ever be one, and a couple of them have died, so I know it's actually a group of them. So there's a nest around here somewhere.
It must be a nest, yeah.
But they'll fly in, they'll fly off somewhere, and I'll open the window fully, so it's a full-on thing that they can fly out of. No, they'll fly around it and fly into the window
Oh yeah, they're in. Yes.
rather than go through the massive fucking hole.
Well, it's because they can't see the window.
No, they can't. But they also, rather than just fly straight, they'll go, no, go sideways, go around into this small little gap between a wooden white thing that they can see and a wall that they can see.
True.
Stupid animals. But I'm not going to argue with them because I know I'm allergic to wasps to a small extent.
Yeah, because a sting that big with a hooked barb on the end does a lot for the argument.
Yeah, wasps, hornets can kill you, and I know.
Yeah, you don't want to risk it.
Mm-hmm. Murder hornets. Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
They were like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, that's a hard pass.
Fucking huge as well.
Yeah.
They're literally like the length of a mobile phone kind of size.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Like, nope.
Oh.
Nope.
Yeah, they're big. They are big.
It's the bones about living in a city. Generally, you don't get shit like this.
I live near to a woods. I get moths that look like they should be improbably sized, but I don't have an issue with I'm not scared of hornets. I have no problem with them. I just have an issue with any insect that has an attitude problem when I'm trying to help it. It's like, if you threaten me, I will win. Your life will be short and unpleasant.
Yeah, it's like, I'm trying to push you towards the exit so you're away from me and you can go fly free.
Yeah. I say, yeah. Same reason that I don't truck with rats when Captain brings them in. It's like, okay, normally I would attempt to save small furry animal, but you are fuckers. You are fuckers that bite. Captain, you finish this off. I'm going to lock you in a room until it's done.
Fair enough. Now, before we begin again, I just want to check a boundary because I asked for a roll on the encounter table and something's come up and it's a parody. I'm going to say this to you now. It's a parody of COVID. Now, I just want to double check: are people happy with that? I do have an alternative one because I got Ben to roll twice. But do people want? I mean, I'm going to leave it up to the discretion of the group. Do people want to have that encounter, which is COVID related? Like, it's a reasons, I'm sure.
And I'm guessing there's someone running around and going, scale it, scale it, scale it.
It's curious. There doesn't seem to be anyone here currently.
So we've gone around, knocked on it, tried keys, and there's just nothing's.
The children, I think what the children will try and like try and check it and stuff like that. And pile on top of it.
And carry it away with us. It is a time traveling device. It's a very
Yeah, the children. I think what the children would have tried to ooh, like try and check in and stuff like that. Maybe pile on top of each other to see if there's any way in at the top, but there doesn't seem to be anywhere in.
Okay, so they do, but they are children.
What are you thinking, Jason? What's your response? Your rebuttal?
The children being children are like, yeah, I think we could help out. We could even get Jason on board, but me speaking as the children, said we will give Bobby our vote if we can name the box Grand, since it could be an indestructible battering ram used later.
I think it's an important thing to know. They're children, which means they don't get a vote.
Oh,
They're under. Oh, you're right.
yeah.
They are
I'm not
under
lifting it.
18.
They're under 18.
Good call.
They
Good
don't
call.
get
Okay.
a vote.
So I mean, thankfully, it's not been used really to.
It's not being used to do anything. That has
it's
unanimous.
exactly. So, phew, good choice for that. So yeah, they're really keen. I mean, thankfully, it's not been used really to.
It's not being used to do anything. That has
It's
unanimous.
exactly. So, phew, good choice for that. So yeah, they're really keen, but like the eldest is like 12. It's like, sorry, can't do anything.
Yeah, I guess that they will. I will just like narratively they convince Jason to give back.
But do they also narratively convince you to put in the argument about calling it Grand?
I'm gonna just roll randomly.
Yeah.
Bobby, choose even or odd.
Even. Because I go against the odds.
But like the eldest is like 12 and it's like, sorry, can't do anything.
Yeah, I guess they will. I will just like narratively they convince Jason to give Bobby the vote on taking it with us. But chose the wrong. I'm going to say no. I do not include that in my argument, and
Fair
do
enough.
not have gone.
Fair
There
enough.
we go.
I love the idea though now, instead of Jez's People's Front, it's actually now Jason's People's Front, and you have the kids behind you. Oh well, that's for a later one.
Actually,
shot,
I'm not sure it's People's Front of Jason. I think it's People's Front of Jazza.
Yeah. So. Yeah, there's too many. It's just gonna be. So,
This is not Monty Python.
So voting for. Sid Rat with you. So I will say this is the end. This is the end of the day. So you can't move just. And if they all meet, it's just gonna be chaos. So all right. So voting for for Jason's People's Front. The Jason's resource to help take.
Mystic Cleaver is a good.
So I will say this is the end. This is
good
the end
spoon.
of the
Always
day, so you
follows
can't
the
move just
maths.
now, but all those in favour, if you want to do it secretly, fan advice. I'm two. Excellent. So yeah, Mr. Cleaver also in there, I'm sure.
Always.
So
yeah, we can definitely try tomorrow
Always does. All right, so you have So there's a couple of testing, making sure they can lift it up as well. And it's like, yeah, we can definitely try tomorrow when we move on, because it's the end of the day. Just now,
This,
so
and
that's-
we can write this into party law
Mhm.
that we can convince children to be thieves.
I think you can. The children can move the Sid rats. I think that's the thing. Where take them with you. That would be
The children can
law.
move.
The
children
proposal
can
was
use
that we
as
half
an
inch it.
indestructible battering
The
ram.
proposal was that we steal it.
But in which case we might want to confirm this, because I had the addendum there. Because I was all on board with stealing it, but I was all on board with using it as a indestructible battering ram.
The idea that we've convinced the children to steal it, and then there's a load of addendums on the end of it. One, it's called Grand. Two, it can be used as a battering
You can
ram.
propose those
Three, it
after.
might be
Yeah.
at some point maybe used as a time travel device to go and steal Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah.
That
So,
remains
yeah.
to be seen.
The
So I think-
Grand addendum.
Yeah. So I would suggest then that first part is written into party law should you want to, and then you can add the addendums later should you need
Agreed.
to.
Agreed.
If that's
Is this like
So-
the Constitution, where you have your extra bits that you add on to the end of it in America that I've forgotten the name of?
absolutely.
Just keeps
It
getting longer.
can be modified at will by random small cabals.
Votes. Yeah.
Like small little
as
ankle
long
biter
as
children
it's-
that can modify everything anyway.
I mean, they don't have a vote, but sure.
Mm-hmm.
But you can. I will say this for rule clarity as well. So any law that's made into the party manifesto, they have to be law for at least one day before they can be repealed as well. So any of the previous ones can also be done as well. Just so you know that for the next time if needed. But as you're settling down for the night, you hear a bit of scrabbling coming down from one end of the station platform, and suddenly out of the darkness appears a very smart-looking person. They have really frizzy hair and a long coat made up of different fabrics and different patterns and stuff. And they go, "Ah, excellent, fantastic! Come, Perry, they're here!" And an American lady also appears and is like, "Oh, doctor, I can't believe you. Where are we? Ah, this is brilliant. We are underground. Yes, the London Underground. Yes. Well, I don't know what. I think we might have been off a little bit there, but don't worry, Perry. It'll be totally fine. Ah, hello. Great. Great to see you here. But, oh, yes, I remember. We are the party members. I am the Kronos Doctor. Here is my assistant, Perry. And we're here to save things, make sure put things right. Essentially, we've been hearing there's been some disappearances. Yes, at a station nearby, Mogg's End. Yes, and realizes that you folks aren't talking, and so mutters and goes into silence.
Bobby just stares at them.
Did you say you was a colonoscopy doctor?
No, very similar, but not quite. No, a Kronos doctor, Kronos assistant, a Kronos aristocrat, I think they call it in your times.
It means time, Maggie.
I'm
Time,
not
doctor.
dense, Bobby. I just misheard him. All right, so you're an aristocrat.
Yes. Well, I mean, I prefer the term doctor myself. And
just as doctor. Just as a quick hint, I wouldn't use the A word around these people. It tends to end up with
Maggie sort of takes off the remains of the Julia Child red polka dot thing, and just on across her back is again another self-done tattoo, and it's just number of toffs oft. And just flexes and just goes, "All right then, children, we're about to learn a very important thing about unions, which is what happens when the aristocracy goes against them. And I would like to put forward a motion. There are no aristocrats remaining. and there can never be more aristocrats to remain. This is how we got into this problem. So we off the top.
Any other adds to this proposal? Jason?
No, I think Jason would be 100% on board with this. This is very in line with his character.
You're like, my vote of approval there.
Yes.
Bob is going to be the sensible one here, weirdly, and going to turn around and go, I don't think we should. This person looks like they might have keys to the time machine. Maybe we get them to help.
Winning cake to the child that brings me the keys.
Okay, so the proposal is using all your forces to try and off the top, i.e. the Kronos aristocrat that's appeared. Please secretly vote to send me the things. It'll be interesting.
I can't believe we're voting to whether to kill the Doctor or not.
He's not the Doctor. He's an aristocrat. He had his opportunity. He chose his name.
Wow. With a 3-1, the motion passed. So, okay, let's go into this. So this is what we call a ruckus. This is a fight sort of thing. Let me get the notes up for this before I forget. Rooks are situations where the party fights over groups or individuals referred to as rooks. Can resolve in any way that any resolution roll. However, I say if you have more successes, you succeed if you're at disadvantage. So let's go through the conditions first to see what you need. So currently you've got to get at least 3 successes, which you've been doing amazingly so far because you've got big numbers of that. So are you significantly outnumbered as a party? No. It's 2 people versus several people. Do you have guns?
Can I fight on the side of the Doctor?
We'll get to that in a second. Hang on, we'll get to that in a second. If the party has no guns and is fighting a group or individual who do have guns, no one has guns. So that's that out of the way. If the party is fighting a group or individual that's significantly better training or equipment, not for fighting.
Yeah. The Doctor doesn't fight. The Doctor runs away, and we have his running away device.
You do. So that's the one.
But the Doctor is also about 1,000,000 times more intelligent than us.
But I would say like they won't be willing to fight, so that will be in your favour. If the party is fighting someone in home territory or in a defensive position, I'd say you've got quite a good defensive position, right?
We were staying here the night. We couldn't move.
We have a defensive wall of children.
And the Doctor doesn't mess with kids.
If the party is outflanked and fighting foes from multiple directions, you're not, so that's fine. If you're fighting on hazardous ground, such as an area with pit traps or is covered in slippery grease. So I don't think you've only got. I think you are outnumbering the Doctor, so that difficulty comes out. I think you're going to need 2 successes essentially to make this. So yes. So remember, stat, any relevant skill, any relevant stuff, any relevant mates if you want.
Would anyone like to go first? Because I've worked out my. Oh, David, you might want to know here about fighting for the Doctor.
Yes. So the motion has been carried that the party is going to fight the Doctor. You can choose, David, to not put any dice in at all. That's the thing. You could literally be like, I'm not doing anything. In that respect, you see what I mean? Reducing your dice pool. That's what I would suggest for that.
Okay.
But we'll go to Jason first, if that's all right.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's see. Man, I still feel like it would be hench and unionized as long as I have children with me. So the children are going to help with the caveat that if I roll a 1 on my children roll, they are going to end up having interminion pack politic fights, splitting in between the Union and Bobby's sort of like pro-capitalist thing, and will exit the scene as as they sort of get into a council and
Yeah.
debate in the
Yes,
student
they will be
government.
removed from the scene, which does not involve killing or dying. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yep. We will work on that. That's not a problem. Thank you for that. So you've done. So you've got your hench and unionize, and you're going to use the children. Is there any stuff you'd like to use for this as well, or are you okay?
Well, my notebook, pen, and pencil is one item.
Mhm.
Yes, I'm going to lead these children with dual wielding a pen and pencil into battle.
The pen is mightier than the sword, Jason.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. 1000%. I love that. All right. We'll go to Maggie next. If that's all right.
So I'm going to ask if I can use my hench, because this is a brawl, a ruckus. I'm then going to use my kneading skill, because these arms have killed toffs. I have a weapon, which is a rolling pin. I have my baker's assistant. And then I'm going to ask if I can get a little weird here, Fiona, if you're comfortable with it.
Yep.
I have the last bag of flour. Flour, in particular form, is highly explosive.
Of course, you've had it for so long.
So this is very premium dry flour.
Oh my word.
So I'm going to ask to use that as my stuff thing. And if I roll a 1, we know what happened to it. And if I don't roll a 1, then clearly Maggie has used flour as an explosive before and knows how to use it accurately. But I will be adding 7 dice to this.
Amazing.
Because Maggie killed tops.
Yep. I love that. I think that's amazing. And then we'll go to Bobby.
I want to see if we can maybe roleplay something here. Like, Bobby doesn't want this fight to happen.
Sure.
But I also don't want to not roll anything. So
Sure.
what I want to kind of put forward as an idea is that I'm going to roll some dice, but it's more of a kind of keeping them apart and stopping them from fighting. So sitting in the middle and saying, no, please don't hit each other.
Getting in the way, essentially.
Kind of getting in the way, essentially. So
Okay.
I want to use my hench and my Tai Chi to kind of do Kung Fu Panda deflect bullet shit. So if the fight happens, I also kind of want them to not hit each other. Saying, no, please don't hit each other.
You're not. If it gets to like close to blows, you sort of it just happens to move out the way.
Yeah. So whether they win or not, what it basically come if I at least get 1 success or something, there is no serious injuries caused, but maybe the doctor or something fucks off and I don't actually get access to it or something. But on top of that, I want to use my car keys, which are a weapon. And I want to use the empty bottle of whiskey as a kind of an idea of another weapon, just to kind of maybe if someone picks up a stick to hit someone, I knock it out of their hand or something. So I just kind of want to stop injuries from happening because I want to keep the doctor alive. But I'm not going to... It's up to you. You can say no, and I will just not roll anything and not be involved in the fight.
I'm going to say this. How about this? I think you can, because I think it basically gets into a bit of a brawl sort of thing situation there. So I think you're going to, if you roll any successes, we'll do that narratively. What I will say though, because you're going against the party line, so they have voted to do it. I'm going to add another 2 dice to the party anxiety. So there's more of a risk of getting a 1 as a result, if that's okay with folks. Because I want people to roll as well. But I think because
also maybe I should also take a knock on something, maybe like my.
Don't do the knock stuff. No, don't be ridiculous. Party anxiety is the thing for that. All right, so everyone roll their sets of dice and let me know what they get. No failures on the party anxiety, but is up to 4 now. So I'll make a note of that.
All right.
Successes are 5s and 6s, aren't they? Or just 6s?
Sorry?
Successes are 5 and a 6.
Yeah, basically, it's the highest number is a 6, which is full success. 5 is partial success, so there's a cost to it. But if you get more 6s, then that makes it. Sorry, Jason, go for it.
So yeah, I got 2 6s and a 5, so 3 hits there.
Yep.
I did roll a 1 on the children, and I also rolled a 1 on my pen and notepad.
Yeah. So that what we discussed. So the kids start infighting between themselves, like calling each other names and stuff like that. And in the hubble, as you're trying to stop people from like you were like trying to unionize, somebody snatches your pen and pencil out of your hand, and before you know it, they've parted ways down different corridors. So the children have left you.
I like the fact that you could take it, the fact that children have stolen the pen and paper and are writing their own manifesto to deal, like writing a peace treaty between the two parties.
Yeah, I love that. So yeah,
Nice.
Brilliant stuff. Maggie
got 6 successes
bloody hell,
on 7 dice because the lowest I rolled was a 4.
amazing. All right, good to know. Yeah, so that's fine. So nothing reduces for yourself. And Bobby,
My hench didn't pass, just 3 and a 2.
3 and 2.
My Tai Chi, I got a 5.
Oh, so that's a partial success.
My car keys, I got a 5.
Mhm.
My bottle, I got a 1.
Oh no!
Bye bye bottle.
Oh, I like the idea. Again, I'm going to assume this for ease. Like, it's not like it's like it'll be like odd punches and stuff, but it's like Batman style, like kapow, boo, etc. And then you just see a bottle smash on the floor and go smash, like big letters and stuff like that.
Do you not know how rare that is?
So yeah, that's another.
Now
It was so worthless. It's even now more worthless. Now let me see.
I'm happy for that to be completely ignored and all my because they're only partial successes to not mean anything.
No. It's fine. So basically, it's the highest result gets it, and because so there was so from what you did, you folks before, it was free. You needed 3 successes, and then obviously you reduced it down anyway because of the fights, the things were. So it was then 2. But basically, the whole point of this mechanic is that if I roll a 1 on the party anxiety dice, that's everything fails. So you could put in as big a pool as you want, but as soon as there's a 1 on the party anxiety dice, then that action fails. So that's why I was sort of adding up to it like there as well. But what happens essentially is that there is just a massive kerfuffle, scuffle essentially, and for whatever reason, we'll pan away slightly. And what is left of the Doctor and what is left, sorry, of the Kronos aristocrat and their
Protect the
worthwhile assistant.
copyright.
Yeah, absolutely. Their companion, their associate. It's just a very lovely, colourful jacket, long thing that's been torn into pieces and shreds, and there's no sign of this Doctor or this assistant. And I say with those successes as well, you managed to find within one of the pockets, the many, many pockets of this thing, you managed to find a weird-looking key.
Does it look like a screwdriver? Or shall we say a spanner?
The key itself looks like a diary key, so really small and flimsy.
I think Maggie sort of shrugs back on the torn off sleeve Julia Child's top again, and just picks up the key and goes, "Right then, Jason. Well, I'm sure the children will return when they sort out their diplomatic differences. They'll maybe better for it. But well, I guess what I put to you is that we can save the day right now, or we can go back to the 80s, find my 80s version of myself, convince them that the world will end if we don't take down Thatcher, and take down Maggie Thatcher."
Also, I do recommend that we put some £1 into stocks of Google, Apple, and a few other companies, and
Amazon.
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 And also make a note that to say don't touch this thing called crypto.
Enron. We should.
Enron is a
Enron,
bad thing as
yeah.
well. Yeah.
I mean, well, tell you what. Why don't we all? Let's just, and I'll put forward a motion here. Why don't we take a moment, because we are in a safe space, and identify all the shitty things that we can remember living through that we could do something about, because we know the outcomes.
We could remake
we
it as
know.
Lugal.
I think that might lead to more problems than it's due, but by investing in it, we can become major shareholders and change their attitudes. And you still get rich, but we can also fulfill Jason's needs for violent unionization of, corporate megastructure. Look, all I'm saying is, somewhere out there in this world, there are 7 grandchildren of mine, all right? Now, if you think I'm a badass, imagine the 4 kids I raised that produce 7 grandchildren, all right? I have no doubt that they're fine, but I prefer them not to have to grow up in a post-apocalyptic wasteland that, well, we don't remember the event, but I don't want to know what it's like for people who live in topside right now.
I inherently agree with everything you're saying. We should definitely go back to the 1980s and stop this disaster. And the disaster was the best thing that we should stop, because it's obviously a really, really bad thing. And obviously putting money into investments so that we are rich and we can make things better in the future, that's a side point. Bobby is obviously just like going along with this because Bobby has very much all of that insider trader knowledge that he knows that he can go back to and screw both of you over and become Lord of the World.
That is fair. What about Jason? Is there anything you want to add to this proposal? Any for or against?
I'm really digging into the puns and Easter eggs here with this one. Okay.
Go for it.
Since we are time traveling, I recommend that we time travel back to May 20th, 1980, which was the premiere of The Empire Strikes Back in London, and Margaret Thatcher, who is PM right now, is attending, and that is when we're going to target her.
So the proposal, as I understand it, is to use the Sidrat to go back in time to May 20th, 1980, and assassinate Margaret Thatcher.
At the London premiere of
The Empire Strikes Back.
And also to invest a lot of money into companies and stop shit from happening.
Yes, Bobby, yes.
All those in favour of this proposal?
Aye.
Oh, unanimous. Who knew? Great.
I think we can put this into party.
Bobby kind of slightly wants to go a little bit further back because Bobby wants to stop Margaret Thatcher from destroying the coal mining industry. But that's a side point, and we'll have an argument about that later.
I think you're like, we've agreed a date. We know where she'll be at this particular time. So,
are we just basically now doing Inglourious Bastards?
Pretty much, yeah. What I'm going to say, we're going to do one final roll, because I have an ending to this now. So we're going to do one final roll. Your resolution, so the motion has passed. You can get into the Sidrat. You can do this. So I need a stat. I need any relevant skills, any relevant stuff, any relevant mates.
Okay. I'm ready to go. If everyone else wants a bit more time, I'm ready to go.
What I'm going to say as well, just so folks know, because I don't want to surprise them.
Yeah.
You have only heard of the Sidrat in stories. So I'll say for much, you open it up and you are overwhelmed by it. None of you currently have ever in the past driven or operated one of these things before. So the difficulty is going to go up a little bit. So
is this where my Sunday driving comes in?
Maybe.
So I'm gonna put forward
Mm-hmm.
noggin, intelligence,
And then because we know that the Sidrat is legally distinct, I don't think it has a traditional engine in any regard.
No.
I think it has a big giant furnace or pizza oven looking thing.
Oh, does it?
I'm gonna ask to put forward baking 3 with my
Mhm.
baker's assistant. And again, the last bag of flour from this timeline, as
Whoa.
I'm going to bake us back to 1980. And I'm going to find a 1980s appropriate baking recipe to be
Excellent.
performing.
Pink blancmange.
That sounds
Can
good.
we use party resources on this roll?
What are you thinking? Describe
Scram?
Yeah, what are we thinking?
I was thinking of maybe part of the time travel magic is using Scran, but we're expending it. It's not a roll. It's not a random roll. We're going to gamble up to 4.
It's the converter from Back to the Future. Feeds in food to power it.
Yeah, flux
and
capacitor.
I'll be making 1 minute. Let's see if I can find if this is. I think this is a
Pineapple
Julia
upside down
Child's
cake.
Well, I think this is Julia Child's recipe, so I want to make sure because that would be the epitome of this.
Go. Just checking. So in terms of using Scran, what I will say is that you do a Scran roll anyway, and if it's not a 1, I mean I'd roll it. You have to roll a Scran roll anyway, but I would. But then you can add a d6 into it. I think there's only so much because it's not about. I mean, the amount of food is one thing, but maybe it's like the quality of the food as well. I would say. So yeah, I'd give you one more d6 on that rather than that. But yeah, you still have to roll a d10 and see what it is. So you can do that now if you want, so you can see.
A crepe gatto, which is apparently a Julia Child recipe, her own variation on her theme. Crepe forays is hers. Crepe filled with almond cream.
Cool.
I had one of those a few days ago. Still really good.
I rolled a 2 on my d10.
Ooh, lucky. So yes, that doesn't go down. Doesn't really matter. We're almost at the end, but yeah, you're gonna add a d6 to your particular box as well, so that's fine. So yeah, so Jason, do you want to talk through your thing, or have we done that? Sorry.
I'm rolling before we talk through it. But yeah. So dash for 1, so that I can use chasing fox hunters, which is 2. So I only get 3 dice plus the scram, which would be 4 dice, right? Is that how I get a 4th for the scram? Okay.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, and Bobby.
I am going to use my Bants, which then allows me to use my... So Bants for 1. It allows me to use my Insider Trading for 3. I am then also going to use my Briefcase of Notes because it's money and will be useful back then. And I'm also going to use my Rolex watch, which will show me as a rich and powerful person back in the 80s.
Amazing.
Because it will be a lot shinier and a lot more expensive. Because it will be rare and nobody will have ever seen it. He obviously applies that to the Rolex, but also doesn't apply it to the money, which is probably useless in the 80s because it was probably printed in the late 90s. But that's a different matter.
That sounds good.
That gives me 5 dice.
I'm just checking because it doesn't technically say in the rules how much stuff you can have. I assume you can only add 1 stuff, but it's the end of the game.
Up to you.
You've got money and you've got a Rolex. You're gonna do well. Let's face that. So that's fine with me. I just wanted to double check because I wanted to get the rules.
Turn it into bling.
That's fine with me. Brilliant. All right. So I'm just gonna say from my side, I've upped the anxiety again by 2 because I realised I should have given myself a +1 when David died, and also because you've also got into a fight recently, so that's got up. So I'll be rolling 6. Yeah, a fight. A 6 anxiety dice on this as well. So everyone roll their dice and let me know.
None of that is my fault. I did nothing wrong with that at all. I did not make the group anxious at all.
Mhm.
I only got 2 successes, but no ones.
You got 4 successes, but the bag of flour is gone, making crepe forays.
Whoa. And then David, 3 successes.
3 successes, but apparently my watch cannot deal with travelling back in time.
Yeah.
I've got a 1 on it.
It just it goes back and forth violently, essentially, and cracks and then stops in place. So I'm gonna tell you the rolls I got on the party dice one at a time, okay? So in order, I got a 3, a 6, a 4, a 3, a 5, and a 6. So what happens is that you realize, like, working together, even though you've had your past differences, one of you died earlier yesterday, but you're back, and you realize that the system, it doesn't work unless we bond together, and this is the only way you're going to do it. So you do the baking thing, the flour. It was never any good. It was sourdough after all. And you just slowly make those crepes and stuff like that. And the clock, everything like starts whirring. And as the Sid Rat disappears, fades and dematerializes off wherever the Ramonas may go, there is on the floor some words, like almost like a slogan. Also, sort of scribed in sort of graffiti, and it says. I wrote it down. It says Flow Dab. And that is where we're going to end today's session.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this.
No. No, brilliant. Well, thank you. Thank you, my players.
Goddamn Doctor Who references. Can I take this thing off my face now? It's really annoying me.
Yep, of course. Yes, of course you can.
I was trying, I
saw.
was trying to get Star Wars in there somehow, so I was like Googling her when she was in office versus what was the Star Wars movie that came out when she was in office, and I was like, yes.
That was brilliant. But yeah, thank you.
That was great.
Yeah, thanks for staying with us. I appreciate it. There's lots of rolling and stuff like that, but I think you get the idea. Like this mechanic of voting and stuff like that. We get going and stuff like that. So thanks for bearing with us. Thank you to my players for giving it as such a good go. I think it's an interesting system. I think we can really do some stuff with it. I really like all the random rolls, all of that was improvised. all of the stuff was made up from that, and I just love it. I just think it's got so much potential and stuff. So such a system like this. So thank you so much. Before we end today's stream, though, I want to give a shout out to the rest of the players, and if they want to just say anything that's any projects they're working on just now or coming up, where you can find them on social media if they have social media and wish to share it, and if none of those apply, any recommendations they have for like a TV show or a book or a film they just want to share with people, because that's give them something to talk about as well. So we'll go in the we'll go in this order we always go in, if that's all right. So we'll go Ben, we'll go JT, and then we'll finish off with David.
Hello everyone, I'm Ben. You can find me at Watch Aitken, which will be somewhere floating around my head, probably around there, I think. Yeah. Oh no, it's below me. It's there. On Twitter, where I occasionally talk about things that I'm working on right now, upcoming projects. I have a zine I've been working on for a little while now called Bring Me the Head of the Lizard King, where much like this one, it's a conversation-based game between a party about why your character deserves the head of the Lizard King, which will grant them one wish. If you can get there and get the head, that is. And so, yeah, that's my next upcoming project. I imagine at some point I'll bend David's arm into letting me run it on here for you all, and we can do a live reveal of it. And then upcoming for David's channel, we've got something very special involving space and representation for both David and Fiona for certain. Space! But yeah, that'll be coming out pretty soon. But yeah, thank you all very much, and thank you to Fiona. Just from the players, at least from myself, but I know the others will agree with this. Can we just a round of applause
absolutely.
for running an impromptu session that has spawned Mad Max Julia Childs in my head.
That's very kind of you. I'll pass it over to JT.
Yeah, thank you. Hey everyone, I'm JT. I have been Jason tonight. You can find me on Twitter at Zensomancer. I too am working on a game. It's very close to a public playtest release. My quick pitch is that it is set in a post-apocalyptic US Midwest about 300 years from now, science fantasy, and sort of the quick pitch is solar punk street medics fight fascists from Mars. So the game is called Witchroot. Follow me on Twitter at Zensomancer or on itch, also zensomancer.itch.io. And once that gets released, you will be able to start playtesting it once got a public thing coming.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. And look out for that. Finally, last but by no means least, David.
The one who dies.
The one, yeah, the one who
dies.
always dies.
Yeah, so this is I'm David. This is my channel where I get other people to run games for me occasionally, so I don't have to run them all. Obviously, we've been quiet for a while due to me finishing a PhD and then moving countries and then catching COVID. But this is the first of hopefully many more games to come. As Ben has said already, we've got something very special planned for a game that I generally despise, but I'm very excited for this thing that is coming up. We have the game hopefully that was meant to be run tonight happening soon, but COVID and other things got in the way again because COVID is a bastard. Project-wise, I am working on 2 projects that I don't know if I'm really allowed to talk about. So, but yeah, there are 2 things that are coming out. One is with our wonderful bodiless voice in the void, who's currently on holiday, and someone else as well who is, I think, part of Vorpal Tales or has done things with Vorpal Tales before. And then there's something with a little local group that I know of that we're going to do things with. There's something going to be happening soon on Darker Days Radio that I'm going to promote. And I'm going to be on one of those episodes where we're going to talk about how to get into the freelance RPG writing world. So Crystal, who is one of the hosts, will be hosting it and getting in people who are freelance RPG writers from across the community who are really, really well known, or who are kind of beginners, and then getting in some people who are trying to get into it and having these conversations about how and why and kind of about different topics about this. And it's a general kind of conversation about how to actually get into it and how to not be afraid of kind of getting into it and actually just putting it out there. So it will be a series of episodes run by Crystal, who is phenomenal as a writer and absolutely brilliant and amazing player as well. First episode we're going to be recording, I literally received the email just before we started streaming, so hopefully we're recording within 2 or 3 weeks, so that should be out soon from this episode. So that's something really exciting, and there are some big names coming into that as well, so do keep an eye out on Darker Days Radio for that. Other than that, I also do a folklore podcast where I butcher folklore and say bad shit about folklore, and then bring Fiona in every now and then, and we talk about folklore and RPGs and how they can be combined. Which reminds me, we've got another one coming up at the end of this month.
Soon, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the one that I can't pronounce.
Oh, don't look at me.
Lupnasa.
All right.
Yeah, the autumn one. So yeah, that one we need to organise that.
Organise it soon.
But yeah. Oh, also we're doing something on the 29th, aren't we, Fiona? July 29th. You're running it, so you fucking better remember this.
Oh,
dinosaurs.
Right. Yes. Sorry. Yes. Hang on. My own computer here was like. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
so I will now pass over to Fiona, so she can promote herself.
I don't know what it's called. I can't remember what the con is called, unfortunately. Essentially. David will look it up. But essentially, we've been asked by another friend of ours who's been on recently. We ran the Alien RPG, and we had our friend Mark from the Folklore podcast. He's part of this convention that asked us to come and be a part of it. So I will be running You Awaken It in a Strange Place, essentially with both Mark, David, and my friend Sarah, who's played the game before. It's a completely improvised RPG where basically the players make up the whole world and their characters, and then the GM has 5 minutes to make the whole scenario, which you think, oh, after seeing Shadow of Mogg, it's totally fine. Yeah, I had a book. I had things. I could go to them. It took ages. We got through them. This, I have to make stuff up on the spot. And they have their own skill checks. We had, when we did our one last time, we had, we had a lady who brewed her own cider. We had a butcher who couldn't remember people's faces, and we had the concept of the wind. Try putting those folk into a story that they're all a part of. It's bloody difficult, but we had fun. So that's the same thing we're going to get there. I think the con itself is like history themed. It's like a history, video games, gaming theme that's impact on stuff. So I'm sure there'll be more information.
Yeah, it's archaeology, so it's Archeo Collective on Twitter are doing it. I can't find the name of the actual con. So it's Archeo Gaming Collective on Twitter are the ones who running it, but I can't find the name of the con at the moment.
We will post more about it at the time. Yes.
Yeah.
Phew. I forgot about that. It's in my diary, but I forgot. That's why I was like, oh no, what have I agreed to?
Argacon. So ARGACON 22. Argacon 22.
Argacon.
So that should be good fun.
And I will. It should be good fun, and I will finish off this very rambly outro by saying I have been your speaker. So when I'm not corralling people through the tunnels of London and then killing off a fan favourite, a British national treasure, which is the Kronos aristocrat, you can find me on 2 podcasts. I run the What Am I Rolling podcast, which is a twice monthly RPG one-shot podcast. As always, it's going very well. We do lots of RPGs similar to this, like one-shots of those. We also do interviews with game designers as well. We've done quite a lot with Free League recently, which is very, very exciting. And the other podcast I run, if you're like, I hate all these other RPGs, I don't mix politics with my RPGs. Boo. But I really like lore about a particular game which involves Dungeons and Dragons. Well, I also have a podcast on that too. If you're into D&D lore, I have the DM's Book Club, which is a weekly book club podcast where we take some Dungeons and Dragons and see how we might improve it and implement it in all role-playing games, and how it can inspire you to do better things in our RPGs, but also we can also rip it apart and say that it's rubbish and make it better, because that's the whole point of this, is doing a nice critique of things, and that we can take stuff that we want and get rid of stuff that we don't want. But that's the What Am I Rolling and DM's Book Club, which you can find wherever you listen to podcasts. And that's it. I don't have anything else to plug. I recommend checking out Leyline Press. Obviously, this Shadow of Mogg was by Leyline Press. I know we should have said this at the beginning. We know the designers very well, because we actually did another one shot of their stuff, which was Salvage Union, which has done incredibly well on Kickstarter. It's coming out. I think the back kit's already out just now. Just came out, yeah. So this is one of their earlier works. Highly recommend checking their stuff out. They've got all sorts of silly things. They're very into their OSR stuff and little modules and stuff. But Salvage Union, basically, that is, I think, Borderlands-esque, but with mechs and using that across things. And we had a really silly time doing that as well. And the quick start is free, so highly recommend joining their Discord, the Leyline Press Salvage Union Discord, getting that thing and trying it out. But also, we've got that particular live stream. David's got it on the Drunken Storyteller YouTube, and we've got it on the Where as an audio thing as well. So go check those out and go give them some support as well, because Leyline Press are very good boys. So, and that's it. No more plugs. The end.
Excellent. So cool. Want to thank Fiona for running an amazing game. Really, really good fun. Good to see Fiona back, and actually just good to be back, I suppose, because we've not obviously been around for a while, because my life has been very, very hectic. It's nice to see Ben back in the games. We've not had Ben around for a while, and it's nice to grow the community. JT's played Wrath and Glory with me before when we did the Ukrainian stream to raise money for Ukrainian refugees. And hopefully you'll be back for more, because you were the one who kind of kick-started something that obviously has not happened yet, but will happen soon. but you are
Yeah.
greatly welcomed within the drunken community. That is basically me drinking, nobody else really being that drunk. But anyway.
Yeah, no one else. Yeah.
Excuse you, I was drinking a cider today.
Ooh, Soida. Yeah, don't come
Thank
to.
you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to know that we've got these people, and it's nice to see that there are people who still want to come out here and play these amazing, slightly off the cuff, weird games that I generally try to promote, and not do that game. Although we are doing that game soon.
Yeah, we are.
We are, but there's a very, 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 very interesting